Hello and welcome to the Lyrical Analysis podcast. My name is Amo Panasar and I'm joined by the Metal Elder, aka my father, Sat Panasar.
Hello.
My very good pal, the Tempest, aka Stuart Wilkie.
Hello.
And another very good pal of mine, the calmest man alive, Ryan Willis.
Hello.
Now listeners, I'm sure you're thinking, what the hell is this Lyrical Analysis podcast malarkey? Well, let me tell you. I've felt for the longest time that there's an epidemic in music where if the beat of a song is good, people completely forget about the words they're actually listening to. And I'm no saint, I'm very much guilty of this from time to time myself, so I thought it would be a good idea to go through and analyse the lyrics of some of the world's most popular artists and try and decipher exactly what message they're conveying. We'll be giving our honest opinions, and you may agree or disagree, but that's all part of the fun. The artist we'll be covering this week is the metal legends that are Iron Maiden. Dad, donning the t-shirt right there.
The king
And the sweatbands.
And the sweatbands.
And the belt.
And props.
Wait. I haven't
And
seen the
props.
belt.
So, yeah.
You haven't seen the belt?
No. Check. Oh my god, it actually
Iron
is.
Maiden.
Fair play.
Is that vegan, Dad?
I bought it pre-vegan, so it is actually plastic. I did check. I did a retro check.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Dad, do you want to start off with like a little intro because you're the one who's most well versed with this band, and you have props in front of you. So, I'm just gonna hand over for the first time in 7 episodes. I'm handing over the
relax,
intro.
Simon,
To,
relax.
I was going to say,
Okay.
we've covered so many rap artists. This is Christmas for Sat now. So
Yeah, this is heaven. Okay, thank you guys for letting us do Iron Maiden on here.
you emphasis on
Okay, so I'll try and do a brief intro. So Iron Maiden were formed on Christmas Day 1975 by Steve Harris, the bass player, and who's been the most prolific songwriter. I think he's written the best songs.
Pretty sure he wrote most of the ones that we do today.
Exactly, yeah.
Based
Yeah,
on what I saw on Google.
He's written the best ones. So to date, they've done 16 studio albums, one of which is a double, 12 live albums, and they've achieved over 100 million album sales worldwide. And The Final Frontier in 2011, which was the first time we saw them together,
We did indeed, yes.
that reached number one in 28 different countries.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Yeah, and they've done all that with very little radio and TV play, so it's all been the loyal fan base.
And they say metal is dying. Eat that with facts, people. And rap fans.
What is that aimed at?
Metal haters.
You cannot kill the metal.
The metal will live on.
Yeah. So they were the pioneers of. Have you heard of Noir-bum?
What, sorry?
Is that English?
The new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh.
So it was a new generation of
What's it
metal in
called?
1980.
Noir Bomb.
Noir-bum.
As in, so,
NWOBHM.
Wait, what?
But it got acronymed Noir-bum.
Noir.
New wave of British heavy metal.
Right.
Yeah,
Noir-bum.
yeah.
That is not something they should have acronymed.
No. I thought you were saying like noir, as in like the darkness, and then bomb. I was like, okay.
Dark bum.
The second half of album?
Hey, Noir album.
Yeah. That would have made sense.
Good.
Not spelled like that.
No, that is shoddy.
So anyway, they pioneered that genre of bands in that term.
Who was the old wave of British heavy
It would
metal?
have been kind of like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Cream, those kind of things.
Do you want to get started like
But anyway, I
like
won't,
an encyclopedic journey?
I won't give you a School
Back
of
in
Rock
1962.
kind of flow chart thing like Jack Black did. So currently they
Rock
comprise.
appreciation.
Trying to keep this intro brief because some of the songs are quite long.
Yes.
No, they may seem long in length, but they're actually short in lyrics for the most part.
Oh,
so I think
yeah.
they're good.
There's
Okay,
plenty of it.
let's do the intro. So we have currently Bruce Dickinson on vocals, Steve Harris on bass, Nico McBrain on drums, and then we've got 3 lead guitarists, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, and Yannick Gers.
Okay, when you say that lead guitarists, as in like they had different lead guitarists at each time, or are they all on stage at once? Because then they can't all be lead.
Oh no, they're all on stage, but they chop and change
They
depending on
have
the
to
song.
Right.
get tired halfway.
So have you seen them go? Have you seen them go frenetic?
Tag out.
Halfway through Empire, they're like, sub.
Hey, it's not like the rappers that rap for 2 minutes and go off and then tag them.
Good point. That's a good point.
I'd love that if Drake just had a body double at his concert. Just like, I'm bored now.
So yeah, they all play different sections and rhythm and harmonies and all this kind of stuff. Another part of the band, big part of the band, is Eddie the mascot. Mm-hmm. So did you come across Eddie in your researches?
No.
I know of Eddie.
So
I'm well versed
here's
in the
Eddie.
Ed Meister.
Oh.
And he's always on the album cover, and he comes on stage as well for a bit of interplay. So that's the band's mascot.
He's always in different forms depending on the content of the album.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So here's a few props.
So I've seen him with like
Eddie,
big old
Eddie,
I've seen him
Eddie.
with the white hair and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think. Yeah.
Do you want to show the listeners, Dad?
Oh,
And the viewers
And the
now.
viewers now.
On the YouTubes.
That's right. You get to see how ugly.
here, guys, have a look. Few Eddies
I hope that
incarnations.
It's just gonna
If
be
it doesn't autofocus, I do apologise.
an abundance of colour.
They were great.
Yeah, they look.
Google it.
Colourful, artistic.
What are these?
Oh, hang on, I'll come to those.
What are these?
So,
Impatient child.
I have to give Bruce Dickinson a special mention.
shakes.
Bit of a hero of mine.
Okay.
So not only is he a heavy metal singer, but he's also an airline captain,
Okay.
a motivational speaker, novelist. So he's written some books. One was Lord Iffy Boat Race, which sold over 40,000 copies. Radio presenter, script writer, international fencer.
Oh wow.
As in fencing, not putting fences.
Imagine the world championship of fencing.
The most unheavy metal thing, yeah. And so his fencing skills, he was ranked 7th in the UK at one point.
That's
top 10.
that's pretty
Not
decent.
bad. And he's a beer brewer as well. So Iron Maiden have a beer called the Trooper, which Anna saw at
this
a
was
pub.
a crazy little side note. I went to London 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And we were discussing the podcast topic of Iron Maiden literally a few days before. I stumbled upon in Stratford the Iron Maiden
You did.
home pub, basically, where they first performed. And in there, they served this
The Trooper.
famous ale.
The Trooper.
So it was a really weird sort of turn of events.
Did you try it?
I hate beer with a passion. I'm the girliest drinker in the known universe, so it's beers and wines are not for me.
Wow.
I'm a cocktail guy and a spirits guy, so manly.
But what an Iron Maiden shrine it was.
But it was, yeah, it's like all the walls were littered with like photos of the band. Eddie was literally plastered everywhere. Massive birthplace of Iron Maiden sign outside, which I had a picture outside of. And no, it was a great little, just a weird coincidence, and it's just sort of weird how these sort of things come about here and there.
So what music do they play there?
You know what? A lot of Barbie Girl, a lot of Bass Hunter.
I like Aqua.
Cascada.
Decent.
Basically a Eurovision shrine. Yeah, no, it's a shit ton of Maiden. Only Maiden.
I'm disappointed now. can I
Only,
just say?
only.
Were they
Iron
just
Maiden.
playing one song the entire time you were there?
No, it was completely. What?
Yeah, well,
An
it
18
was Empire.
minute.
They were
During my
only there for-
entire visit there, I think I heard 2 songs. So yeah, it was good. No, really
Hours
cool.
there. Oof.
And Bruce, he had head and neck cancer a few years ago.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Which he managed to fight, come back,
Oh,
and they
awesome.
recorded another album. So
Fantastic.
hopefully he can carry on for a long, long time. And it's a bit scary. He's only 4 years older than me, and he's achieved all these different things at such a high level.
Slacker.
Impressive. So he actually flies the Iron Maiden plane called Ed Force One with all the crew and the gear on it.
Pretty badass.
And they go all over the world, and they've managed to go
that.
to like remote places in South America and play some really crazy gigs and stuff. So,
That's pretty dope.
so when did I first see Iron Maiden? So back in 1979 at the Odeon
Can we have a harp playing?
Yeah, go on. I can add that. That's easy.
Yeah, the kind of image
Put
face.
it black and white, please.
Have you got pictures of you back in the day with like your big ass beetle hair?
Oh no, we didn't even have cameras. I mean, forget your phones and stuff. We hardly had a camera between us.
Ye
back
oldie
then.
selfie stick was not on existence.
Probably a cleft stick or something. Yeah. No, I saw Bruce Dickinson when he was in a band called Samson. They were third on the bill. I can't even remember the other bands. All I remember was Bruce Dickinson in this fantastic voice, and I thought, what a voice. So I started following Samson, and a year later in 1980 saw Iron Maiden supporting Judas Priest at the Odeon New Street with their original singer. And I thought, yeah, brilliant band. So I was into both of them. So it was brilliant when Bruce Dickinson joined Iron Maiden from Samson. And then there we go, Iron Maiden really took off then. Yeah.
Like Fergie with black eyed peas.
God, what a comparison, right,
Oh
guys?
Same.
You know it to be true.
How long did Black Eyed Peas last? About 2 years.
They're still going. What are you on about?
Well, reformed. Here's Maiden, 44 years later, still going.
I've
with
actually
plaster.
read
I can't believe that was your first go-to thought. As the talent of Bruce Dickinson, Fergie. Even as a joke.
International fencer, airline captain. So, how much do you think I paid to see Iron Maiden back in '84
Well,
with Bruce Dickinson?
I feel like it's going to be ridiculously cheap. What year was it, sorry?
Well, I actually saw them in '84 because I went to.
I'm going to say...
That's just a white square. I
Oh, is
think,
it?
but-
The readers can't say anything. Here's my original
I'm gonna
ticket
guess-
from back in '84.
I'm going to guess £2.50.
I'm going to go for $3.50. $3.50.
Ryan?
175.
Ooh.
A fiver.
That's still decent.
That's
though.
good.
For a big band like that.
You've had cheaper tickets than that, though.
Yeah,
that's why I was
I've got
thinking-
all my old concert stubs here.
And low.
Look, Ian Gillan, £2.80.
Look at that.
£2.80 for a gig.
Yeah,
that is
UFO $3.75.
How much did Drake charge now?
£3.
100. You went to Drake, didn't you?
I went for free.
Oh, did you?
I did not do that.
Childish Gambino's concert in London was like 300 quid. This is last one ever.
He is good though. So
God damn.
Coming
Yeah.
soon on Lyrical Analysis.
As our
So-
good friend Dimitri.
Yes, he did. He'll be on that podcast, for show.
So that's a little bit of intro to Iron Maiden.
Are we getting into it?
How do
Yeah,
you
shall we
start
get
on
into it?
Christmas Day? How do you start a band on Christmas Day?
I think
Isn't everyone busy?
He wanted to be, I don't know, like the Messiah, like something was, being born of biblical proportions and importance. So Christmas Day seemed quite fitting.
Interesting.
Jesus' birthday was in...
And how correct he was.
Different calendar. Right, let's get into it. On that awkward silence note. So,
Prophecy of greatness to come, yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
clearly worked for him.
Everyone, intro over. Let's get into the words. So, first song up is Hallowed Be Thy Name. One of my favourites, if not my favourite, Maiden track. Back in 1982, Dad. It's been one of the most covered Iron Maiden songs, covered by Dream Theater, Machine Head, which I think the cover is better than the original, Cradle of Filth, and a number of other bands as well.
Cradle of Filth, yeah.
So yeah, and then
I must admit, I did like their versions. I like the screamo element. I thought that was interesting to hear that
it's
side
on this
of it.
verse. It's the mark my words, my soul lives on. That bit, that's so good. Anyway,
Yeah.
so this song's about a man on death row, and he's about to be executed, and it's his perspective of this experience. So yeah, where do you want to start, people?
But isn't it in the past as well?
You mean back in 1982?
With
No,
the
I-
galleries, though, with the...
I'm waiting in my cold cell.
Yeah, it's the present tense for him as he's going.
It's his last
that.
moments as he takes the sort of walk.
It's not
of
a
death.
modern death row, though. It's
Yeah.
death
He
row
literally
from-
says the word gallows, so I mean
Oh yeah,
that's not
back
historical.
in there. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, ye oldie death row. Give
I'm
me
just
fucking
saying,
break.
like,
No,
setting
that's-
the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fine.
and that's also quite a theme of like a lot of Iron Maiden stuff. They do seem to be very historical and like to like have these epic retellings
Yeah.
of like old like it almost feels like a lot of their songs are like poems from like world wars back in the day, and
Yeah.
they've just decided to fucking go.
A lot of the songs are based
ham.
off poems as well. So
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
books and
Yeah.
inspirational material.
I figured they
So-
did tend to.
Rather than boy meets girl and girl leaves boy and
Oh.
breaks boy's heart and
I want to break up with you and fuck you one more time.
yeah, exactly.
So you know.
And if you notice, they don't talk about they don't talk about
Flashbacks,
themselves.
flashbacks. All right, let's get to the words. So,
Okay, we'll come back to that.
sorry.
What was
I'm
it?
sorry. Have I cut you off? For once? Sorry. That's a first, isn't it? In 7 episodes.
We're having a little conversation here.
on, carry on.
What I really like about them is they don't talk about their own ego. They don't sort of like, I've got this, I got that, bling, whatever, or girls and stuff.
That's the most
It's something
dad
a bit more
word ever
meaningful.
now.
What's that?
When a dad says bling, like now, it's just like, you're such a dad. You've reached that pinnacle age, my friend. No one says bling anymore.
So, yeah, a lot more to it.
yeah.
Bling, I just, me, I'm always 3 years out of line with the
I'm going to make
latest
Dad
trends.
download the Urban Dictionary app, and then he'll catch up to
That'd
the
be
rest of us.
interesting. I
Yeah.
can't wait for him to use the word lit in
I
a
know.
sentence. That's gonna be great.
I've heard it on some videos. Legit and lit.
Legit's fine.
The thing is, though, then you're going to start saying stuff that not even you know, because Urban Dictionary has some weird ass stuff in
Then
there.
he'll educate me. So,
Yeah.
happy days. Anyway, words. So I'm going to start with unless you've got anything for the first paragraph, Dad, I'm going to go straight into paragraph number 2.
Are you going to read it like you normally do?
Are we going to do, like, literally verbatim? Because normally I pick out, like...
Oh, do you?
bits.
Oh, right, okay.
Have you got something? Okay, I'll read out the
I mean, I
first
haven't got
verse.
anything in particular, but yeah, like I said, it's the reflections of a prisoner on the day of his execution.
You know, because this is so short, I will read it verbatim.
I was about to say that my summary of it was that it was a man's reluctant acceptance of his futility and fate. So it's the idea that, well, I don't want this to happen, but it's going to happen, therefore I have to sort of, internalize it and deal with it as I can.
Yeah.
And in that sort of era, I can imagine if they're talking gallows, that's like era when people are being hanged for crying out loud.
Hangings, yeah.
I think this is timeless, though, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's whether you're going to an electric chair in Texas today, or whether you're being sort of hanged back in sort of medieval England, or being hung, drawn and quartered, or injection. I think it could apply to any century, really.
There.
Right, shall I read out the first 3 verses?
Go on then, yeah.
So, I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time, because at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time for me are running low. Running low.
Yeah. Did you listen to this, guys?
I did.
The video. What a great... Because I heard a vocal coach's reaction video to this, and she was so impressed with how long he held running low, and she did all the kind of changes in between. It was superb.
Listeners, expect some really shitty singing in this episode from
Hang on, I've been told I'm a good singer,
Sounds
Emma.
very exciting.
By what? One fucking rep on a bloody Thomas Cook holiday.
That was an in-joke
Jesus
occasion right there.
No, that was a real laugh.
I sang Bohemian Rhapsody at one of these abroad holiday camp things.
Dad sings loudly, and the people are impressed by his volume and have to turn his mic down. And then they tell him he's a good singer. And this is what happened on numerous teenage holiday adventures. Kefalonia. Fuerteventura. My eardrums were ruined.
This is really a podcast for Ammo's past trauma.
There's healing. There's
More
healing.
hearing loss, to be honest.
This feels like a therapy
Anyway, let's
session
get
now.
into
I
it.
feel like you should leave.
So what do you think about the opening lines? Does it draw you in? Does it capture your imagination? Because this is what I like about Maiden. The lyrics, for me, they draw me in, and I love the whole storytelling.
You get drawn in because of the vivid imagery. Like, it's just so easy to picture everything. I mean, the second verse, which I'll read out now, is when the priest comes to read me the last rites, take a look through the bars of the last sights of a world that has gone very wrong for me. So even like that, you can just picture that. So it's like reading a book almost. And this is the most I've heard with any artist that we've covered so far.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah, you can imagine this. I can imagine a film in my head. Like, that's how descriptive these words are for me. Yeah.
And on when they're playing it live, Bruce actually starts singing it behind some bars. To kind of like,
Emphasize.
to get into character. And he's got a swinging noose as well.
I was wondering where that was going to go.
yeah, that could go anywhere, really,
I
couldn't
just heard
it?
swing and I went, oh god, here comes another knob gag.
Oh, that was such a good moment.
Or if you could tie a noose around it.
Who knows?
Depends on the girth of your noose.
Slipknot.
Someone's going to give that in the years to come.
Not slip. Okay.
Anyway.
Right.
Tighten up. Anyway, I like in the next verse, can it be that there's some sort of error? I've got here desperation next to that line. Hard to stop the surmounting terror, fear. Is it really the end, not some crazy dream, helplessness? So like every single line for me, I can sort of pick like a significant, distinct emotion from it, and I love that. I really, really like that.
Yeah, because if you're going through that, part of you would be wishing, please let me wake up. It's this can't be happening to me.
Yeah, and this theme runs throughout the song, so I think each line you can just sort of just grasp something very meaningful from each of them. So, yeah. Then, however, verse number 4.
Oh, right, okay.
Have you got something else?
No. I thought you were going to read all of it.
Should I just read the whole bloody thing? Should I just do that?
Well, don't read all of it,
No,
but we'll pause, yeah.
What you got?
Tears flow, but why am I crying? After all, I'm not afraid of dying. Don't I believe that there never is an end? I'm calling bullshit on that second line. He is definitely scared of dying. So why is he saying that here? Let's get into some sort of...
I think he's very mixed.
Yeah, I suppose in that like life or death situation, you just go through a plethora of emotions, don't you? You just sort of like
You want to try and accept it and like make yourself believe that you're okay with what's happening.
Yeah, you want to internalize it to the point of like I don't care. Like, I've
Denial,
lived my life. It's like,
acceptance, and then there's going to be a tug of war where denial pulls you back, and you start to accept a bit
I'm
more.
still calling bullshit. So.
I think this is my favourite part of the song because the rest of it, it is like telling a story, but it's not easy to relate to.
Yes.
Whereas
I was literally
this
because you've never
paragraph-
been on death row.
Well, it is.
It's not something I've ever experienced.
But can you not relate to it by thinking about it? Because we've seen this in so many mediums at this point, like the whole death row sequences. So you can imagine, because when you see that, when I see anything like death row on TV or films or whatever, I imagine myself in those person's shoes. How the hell would I feel?
I think it's
This is pretty much it.
It's very difficult to completely replicate the feeling there.
I get that,
in
yeah,
that
true,
sense.
true,
But
true.
you are right in the sense of like you can imagine what it is, especially when the words are so descriptive.
It's hard to replicate. You can only imagine, I guess.
Yeah, I
with this.
suppose with that line as well. Don't I believe that there is never is an end. That could be him like in his final moments questioning maybe his religious beliefs. For
Yes,
example.
yes.
A lot of people feel they're going to have an afterlife, but where that faith gets tested the whole life. You've got a gun to your head. Do you know what I mean? It's like the screen just might go black and I might not ever wake up.
Yeah. Or I might end up sort of heaven or hell or reborn or something. Yep.
Maybe so.
And I haven't got anything else now until the second to last verse. So have you got anything else you want to add, Dad?
Wow, what about your life flashing in front of your eyes as you're walking through? I just love all the imagery, guards marching and the people
Which
saying
verse is that?
good luck, all the way through. The whole journey from cell to gallows.
Okay.
I think is great.
Let me read that verse out. As the guards march me out to the courtyard, somebody cries from a cell, God be with you. If there's a God, then why has he let me go?
There you go.
It's just amazing. Like, it's really good. The wordsmanship is strong. That's for sure. Anything else?
Yeah.
Or can I go?
No, carry on.
I think the last verse is when you know that your time is close at hand, maybe then you'll begin to understand life down here is just a strange illusion. Is that again another sort of similar line to before where you can relate to it more because maybe when you are on the brink of dying, that you just think maybe this is all a fucking joke.
I don't even think it doesn't even necessarily have to be as like mortal as or as fatal as being near death. People could think that just having a bad day. Do you know what I mean? Why me?
Yeah.
Why did I stub my toe? Do you know what I mean? It's dramatic for some people. But,
my toe! It's okay. It's an illusion. Breathe.
Hey, for some people it is, they catastrophize over just the smallest thing.
It's true.
I've misplaced my wallet. Oh my god, it's the end of the world.
Amo, do you feel like life down here is just a strange illusion? Maybe Iron Maiden predicting the Elon Musk's like Matrix theory.
Oh, dude.
I was going to say, do you want the red pill or do you want the blue
I
pill?
am so down the AI rabbit hole.
You're gonna love when the wind blows when I compare it to Brexit.
Predicting
bunker mentality.
I'm going to a artificial intelligence based escape room on Saturday.
Okay.
Which I'm after being whilst being on this sort of Elon Musk,
What
Joe
are you
Rogan
doing,
podcast,
Emma?
AI, I'm really hoping it's like that. It's gonna be some ex machina shit. I can't wait. Anyway,
I think
that's a very strong start.
We have to give the instruments a mention as well. I know this is about lyrics, but
You have 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
These are about the words.
All right then. I was just going to say that the music really drives the pace and the inevitable, his demise coming up. I love the intros, the outros, and it just adds to the whole
because it's like a
atmosphere.
slower build-up, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then when it's more like the guards are coming for me, like it beats like his heart would.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
he's going
yeah.
to the gallows. So.
I'm glad you
I
picked
enjoy
up on
it.
that,
was good.
Ryan, because the music definitely matches the theme of the song.
Also, a lot of it does it rhyme?
Does it have
There's
to
a few
rhyme?
that don't, so I literally almost circled
Chime
some
in
of them,
time.
yeah.
I was like,
Hey, look, rights and
Great stuff.
sights.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Chime time.
I'm not gonna lie, Ryan, it's better than what we've had so far on the
I know.
podcast. I'm not gonna
That's what
lie.
I'm saying. Does it even rhyme?
Oh,
Yes,
it's
it
an
does.
approval.
Yeah.
Ding ding. So,
Okay, all right, we get the
Anything else?
Ryan.
anything else?
just a fantastic song.
All right, shut up. Right, strong start. Next one.
Okay. Oh, is this
kiss ass.
timekeeping, Anu?
Half an hour in.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right, next song. Run to the Hills, back in 1985. A song.
82.
Yeah,
Is it 82?
Yeah, it was off the Number of the Beast album.
It's
God, fact checking. Okay.
okay. You go.
No, you go.
I was literally going to say with this song, like it's quite a bizarre one.
You go, Steve.
From my perspective, because I mentioned these guys pre-podcast that usually what I tend to do is I listen to particularly with artists that I'm not familiar with, listen to the songs without any lyrics in front of me, then try to listen to it with the lyrics in front of me. And this was certainly one where I was like, oh shit, that's what this is about. Okay.
Atrocities of the white man.
Yeah, well, and that's
Colonialism.
the one thing. It's very ahead of its time in the sense of like, this is what kids these days would call woke. Do you know what I mean? This is a freaking like song that's based about. Oh, sorry, Sat. Aware of your scenarios. From like it'd be like, okay, I'm presuming most people in the Iron Maiden are white, correct? If not all of them, yep.
Yes,
so them being self-aware and actually identifying like past atrocities of their own kind, that would be deemed as woke, i.e. somebody that's aware of their surroundings in this
like
situation.
Awoken.
Yes,
In their reality.
yes.
Yeah,
From
good.
a white man's perspective, I guess. But yeah, the one thing that was quite disheartening, I know that it's from two perspectives, which is quite fascinating. You do see songs. I don't want to make a shit reference like Fergie, but
Oh my God, how should be mentioned twice?
no. I was going to make.
It's half an hour.
Do you remember back in the day when?
People killing.
Hang on, is this an Iron Maiden podcast? Or is that a Fergie Black Eyed
I'm
Peas?
not even mentioning Fergie. But do you remember back in like the early 2000s when that Eamon and
Fuck you.
when
I
they
don't
had
want you back. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm happy with that reference.
That's like
That is a good reference.
This is like a very epic and like historical version of them two
Was
like
that 90s or early 2000s?
Early
How the
2000s.
fuck are you comparing atrocities to Eamon and that other woman?
My God!
I mean, from like the perspective one here, it's like, oh, we thought it was a guy being broken hearted, someone
That is
like,
the best
stomping at his
stretch
heart.
I've ever heard on this podcast.
It turned out the girl just fucking,
That's Stretch Armstrong, that is.
called him out on his toxicity. But
That
anyway,
is so funny.
Heavy metal gods too. Right.
If I had a million guesses to it, I would have never guessed. That would have come up on this podcast.
I tell you,
You couldn't write it, could you?
my brain works differently to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I was going to say was that this song is like disturbingly upbeat considering the source material.
Galloping, isn't it?
I get
Running.
the theme, but it's just sort of like, run to the hills, you're all gonna die, yay. Isn't
Well,
it
you will if you don't
fantastic?
run fast enough.
Yeah, it's true.
It's also similar to Pumped Up Kicks.
If you're in that, that's right. Yes, I said it's a very upbeat song despite the subject matter, very similar to Pumped Up Kicks.
What's Pumped Up Kicks?
It's a song by Foster the People. I think it's called Foster the People. I feel bad if it's not. But the song is very like light-hearted. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks. You better better run faster than my.
How are these comparisons?
Well,
being
that's
made?
That's the same thing.
Yeah,
Run to the Hills.
It's about Columbine, basically, or like that kind of.
Yeah,
like
it's about
thing.
school shootings.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the reason why they gotta run.
I didn't know that.
Better run.
Sounds like another one of my fun facts.
It does. It's always
Roles are all reversed.
Yeah, I don't know where I am.
flipping the script today.
Hey, this song reached number 9 in the charts.
UK or worldwide?
I'm guessing that's quite impressive for a heavy metal song in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, considering they just didn't get any airtime.
Oh, yeah.
Because you didn't have all the digital channels.
Was that
No,
when it was
you
still
don't
like people were more religious back then, so they're like seeing things like this and they were like, oh no, censorship. Was that the reason for things like that? Was it? This
No,
era?
I think there was
this
just a
song
heavy
as well.
metal bias.
Okay.
It just didn't fit in with the kind of poppy stuff,
This is also one of their shorter songs.
Yeah, it's only,
why
what,
it did so
4
well.
minutes or something?
Only 4 minutes. I do have a
words.
fun fact later on, which you'll find quite funny.
Oh, right, yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so song about atrocities of the white men, Europeans arriving in America, and how they oppressed the Native Americans. Yeah, I just think it tells a very accurate portrayal of a very long period of time, a very long narrative.
Yeah, a very
In
honest one.
effectively 3 verses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just felt that was bloody brilliant. So I'll read out the first verse. White men came across the sea, he brought us pain and misery. He killed our tribes, he killed our creed, he took our game for his own need. We fought him hard, we fought him well, out on the plains we gave him hell.
The rhyming! I love it!
It rhymes!
Got a rhyme judge here, yeah.
Ryan's rhyming is A-OK on this one. Okay, so, out of the plains we gave him hell. But many came, too much for Cree, oh will we ever be set free.
So, do you know what Cree is? Or who Cree were?
Native Americans, a tribe, yeah.
The largest one.
Yeah.
They're still around today.
The villains in
They're
the
still
Marvel
around
universe
today,
as well.
Cree.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that's with a K.
Ooh, that's it. Oh, yeah. There's going to be a C then.
So yeah, that was the native viewpoint, and I thought, gosh, can you imagine the sight? You're there living your peaceful life in your tribe, and suddenly these beasts come and just take everything off you and kill you and stuff.
I think The Revenant and Hostiles, have anyone seen those? The Christian Bale one?
I haven't. No.
Brilliant. I watched it in Frankfurt. We went to a secret cinema with my mate Dave. Shout out Dave Beale. And we didn't know what the film was going to be, and it was that one, and it was bloody amazing. And when I read this back just before the podcast started to do my prep, I just thought of like that vivid imagery of the Native Americans and Americans just fighting in the way they did, horsebacks, muskets, just in some gruesome, horrible ways. But this gave me that vivid imagery like really, really cleanly. Just good song, man.
And,
3
and,
verses,
and I
how
think,
they do it is amazing.
And I think for me, I looked at it more wider really, and colonialism. Columbus apparently, when he went over to the Hispaniols, oh my word,
Yeah, he's not a nice person.
taking babies and bashing them on rocks, cutting off women's breasts, doing all sorts of horrific things
Fun
to
fact.
the natives that welcomed. Colonists is a very polite term.
Yeah, that's a nice way.
And same, with India and the British Empire, with partition, 1 million people died overnight, and they did some horrific stuff in India. And in Kenya as well, they'd use these special pliers to cut guys' testicles off and crush them. Raped women with bayonets. So
With bayonets?
Yeah. A lot of the kind of European colonialism, it's been airbrushed out of history, how brutal it actually was. So this song actually went a lot wider for me than just the Native American versus the European settlers.
Well, I can imagine as well, like in the 80s as well, like you say, because history is written by the victors, as it were.
Yes,
so a lot of people, even today, a lot of people don't know about actual history. We were talking about when India was like divided, the partition. We were literally talking about it the other day, and how it's like it isn't taught in schools. I only really learned more about it in the last year because of a Doctor Who episode that fascinated me. So so it is kind of mad to think that this came out in 1980. Was it 82?
Yeah.
So
Ryan, remember in secondary school when we sent some African schools some textbooks, history textbooks, and they sent them back because it told the story of the white man it told the story of history from the white perspective.
Basically, they did not agree with it.
Yeah, I thought, and it really resonated with me, and I think with everyone in that assembly, it was just like, shit, yeah.
Yeah, context and perspective is everything.
Yeah.
It's like all history books, they are written from your country's perspective.
Yeah. That's why I found it quite funny when I went to Poland, actually. I went to one of their museums, and of course, Poland was one of the first country that was invaded by the Nazis, and it's quite odd that you look at the museums in England and they tend to put them as quite a neutral thing in case they don't, so they don't offend anyone. Yeah. But in Poland, it's so much different. It's like, this is the gun that killed the Nazi prick, basically, and they're very proud of the fact that they defended their land and they brought,
Which is fair. No, you did.
That's it. So
You invaded Poland.
Yes.
Okay, one line I liked was "Murder for freedom, a stab in the back."
Oh, second verse.
Yeah.
So this is from the Europeans' perspective now, yeah?
I thought, I never clocked that line before.
Oh, it's nice.
It is a good...
multi-meaning, Do you
want to go?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, so literally you could stab someone in the back as you're, doing battle, and it's also a betrayal of someone that initially thought, oh, look, these new people are coming over, let's make friends, stab.
I also think it's the sort of heinous, it epitomises the heinous act of war in one line. Like murdering for freedom, obviously because you're on the one perspective who believes that's true.
Yeah.
Freedom. And then what you have to do then to do that and achieve freedom in your eyes is stab people in the back or do other disgusting acts.
Well, they've also called it a game, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whereas the Native Americans obviously don't think it's a game.
No, they do not. No.
Hang on, which one's this one, Ryan?
Fighting them at their own game.
I suppose that
Maybe they thought they were
That's the
bloodthirsty,
thing, they were somewhat primitive when they
wild,
said,
primitive. Yeah,
That
yeah.
they're
Still calling it a
predominantly-
game is a bit like they're murdering them.
Yeah. Whereas I suppose the Indians would have
Chasing them down and
And their
enjoying
holes.
it.
It says their
reaction's funny,
holes as if like that'd be their homes, wouldn't it? Their
Yeah.
holes, you'd think like badgers.
Well, I guess
It's more of an animal.
There are the weirdest analogies in this fucking podcast episode so far.
I don't want you back.
I think that's a fair point, Ryan, because that's how little they thought of them.
Yeah.
That we'll just massacre you and take all your resources and riches,
Yeah.
and we'll just.
And paint yourselves as the heroes.
Speaking of resources, let's go on to the third verse. Obviously, run to the hills, run for your lives. Big chorus. Third verse. Soldier blue in the barren waste, hunting and killing for game, raping the women and wasting the men. The only good Indians are tame, selling them whiskey and taking their gold, enslaving the young and destroying the old.
Now, apparently, that verse was from a third-person perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got three perspectives in this.
It's just, this is infallible, this song, man.
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It was definitely one of my favourites.
Plus, it's really catchy.
It is very catchy.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
riffs.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else you want to say, or can we move on?
Did you see the video to it? So you got sort of like a live performance of Maiden, and it's interspersed with black and white sort of film clips, right? And the funniest part was, so they're doing battle, you know, the Indians in there, so like, you know, stereotypical red Indian gear, and the European settlers. And so one of the Indians, Native Americans I'll call them, sort of sneaks up on one of the Europeans, grabs his hair, gets ready to scalp him, pulls his hair up, and his toupee comes off. Which I thought was great.
Nice.
I thought that was very good.
That's funny.
Oh, well, the scream at the end. Another legendary Bruce Dickinson
Wail.
elongated scream at the end. I just thought it was a fantastic song, and I can still remember hearing it for the first time when I was at the Polytechnic of Wales back in 1982, playing a bit of foosball, and suddenly this tune came on. I thought, this is good, and then the riff, and then the sound. This is great.
Then
What
Iron
is it?
Maiden logo appeared on his t-shirt.
I turned into Eddie.
To be fair, I can also remember when I heard it for the first time, but that was about, I want to say 12 hours ago?
I don't know why I didn't see that coming.
This is back to my youth, Stuart.
I was going to
when
say,
I was like your age.
You got a bit of lineage on this one, I would say.
Right, next.
Okay.
Right, on
I wonder if
to...
I'm going to remember, like,
Think about
old
it.
songs. Like, I wonder if I'm ever going to remember...
Actually, let me just
like,
keep it, because I always want to like, reference when I'm doing my scoring at the end. I'm like, fuck, what was that song called? Because I did with Ariana last time, and I was like, what was that shitty song called that I've already forgotten? Anyway.
The disrespect. She's not here to debate. Come on now.
Through the power of storytelling, that's how a message gets embedded in, you know, people's psyches.
I can recall all of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas
Yeah.
Ariana, I couldn't tell you jack shit.
Okay, we'll discuss it. Why are we still attacking Ariana, for fuck's sake?
She deserves it.
We'll discuss we'll have a lengthier discussion about like the music scene in general, because I think that's where I'm going to be able to
Okay.
contribute to this
Okay.
podcast.
Right, we've still got another 7 to go. Six to go.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. A Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Back in 1984.
Yes, 84,
AKA the song should be called And Then.
Yes, yeah,
It
okay.
definitely should be called And Then.
Yeah, that
for
is-
sure, people. It's And Then.
Yeah. Oh, and the.
And and they. It's just and th and then ...
So let me set the scene. So, based on the 1797 poem of the same name by a romantic poet called Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
Yep, that's right. Yep, Coleridge, yeah.
And it's the... I said the most lyrics for any Maiden story, I think, that I've seen, like, thus far. When I was doing my analysis anyway. And yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It is a long-ass song. Basically, it's a long song. I was like, whoa, pages upon pages. And it's 13 minutes and 41 seconds long, this song. So about 4, 8, 12, was it 3, 6, 9, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times longer than the average song these days. So it just shows you the depth that they go into. But I agree with Stuart's point. There is a lot. And then, this happened.
Well, the one thing I put down that it was almost like the add-on game, where you like in a circle and you have to like remember the game and something has to add something
the
to the
drinking
story.
game.
I went to the
But isn't that a
shops
story?
And then we fought the demon.
A story, a film, it's in chapters.
Oh, I get that. I do, but
it was
does-
just very much and that.
Hey,
Have you ever seen?
have you read Coleridge's poem?
And that.
Have you ever seen The Other Guys? I'm
What,
doing
the-
some weird ass references.
thinking
this as well. There's like they sing this little like sea chanty between Will Ferrell and like a bunch of old lads, and they almost like turn around and then they come back again, and then the men drink from their. What the fuck? I can't even remember what they say. They say some weird shit in
That's
that
a weird
bit.
film.
But yeah, that's what it made me think of.
Best
It's some
The
weird
Rock
like
cameo ever.
It's some weird
that
drinking
shit.
references.
Anyway,
Oh, just a little tidbit on Coleridge.
okay.
He wrote it whilst under the influence of marijuana, which was hemp back in the day.
Marijuana.
As Stewie would say, Family Guy, marijuana. So it was all legal back then. And
Was it?
did you know Queen Victoria used to smoke it?
You know, Shakespeare was a
for
massive
her.
stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shakespeare was high as fuck all the time.
So,
Sorry.
I,
Side note.
that's how he produced good stuff, probably.
Agreed.
But I only knew this because Bruce did a little intro to it during one of the live concerts.
Oh, really?
And he mentioned hemp and Queen Victoria, when she used to have period pain, used to go and have a couple of spliffs.
Nice.
To ease the pain.
Working
on the
big once a
throne,
month, baby.
so to speak.
Baller move. I like it.
Do you want me to sing the song from the other guys?
I think go on.
Or at least like give us a line for it because it's so good.
Okay,
It's not short.
I'm going to do the whole thing.
Go on.
I gave my love to Erin. She promised to be true. I went to war to come back and find 5 British soldiers had their way with her. It was
consensual.
But then it comes back and says, and all their fathers were hanged. I don't remember the tune to this. And their children all got pink eye while their Harry Potter books were burned.
That was Will Ferrell in a complete nutshell.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway, first verse of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Hear the rhyme of the ancient mariner, see his eyes as he stops one of 3. Mesmerizes one of the wedding guests, stay here and listen to the nightmares of the sea. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. So I've got like a sea. Have you got that as well?
What?
Yeah, I've got that. What? See his eyes as he stops one of 3. What the fuck, Dad?
He could have stopped. It's poetic. It's,
I don't get it.
It's a story. It's a poem.
See
so there's
his
lots
eyes.
of there's 3 wedding guests walking by at that
Wait,
moment
what's
in
what's
time.
happening? Are they not on a boat?
Yeah,
No.
I'm a wedding.
No.
But
He's
it's
at,
I
he's
imagine
at
an
a
old
wedding.
fisherman, like covered in seaweed.
That's right,
Just
yes.
like there, just like, I got a story for you.
Yes, you got it right.
This is the sequel
He's
to
got
Lonely
it.
Island.
Is this like the worst, best man ever doing his speech?
He's not. I didn't even know if he's a guest.
But what's going on?
He's
Why-
probably gate crashed it.
But why is it our wedding? I don't understand this.
Hang on. Here's something of today's generation. They want to know everything straight away. Wait
No,
till
I just
you get
wanna
into the song. All will be told.
Okay, I've obviously
All
missed
will
the
be
trick
told.
here.
You know when you
All
go
will
to
be
a
told.
wedding and you're always on a table with people you don't know and you don't really want to talk to
I
them?
love that.
It's like that, but there's 3 normal people and there's one really creepy old ship captain.
with a peg leg.
Yeah.
Just like-
And they're just about to get up and leave to go to the buffet and he's like, I got a story.
oh dear.
Do tell, crazy captain.
And it depends, if you're polite and you listen, or you kind of just say, "Sorry, mate, I've got to go."
This could be a while.
You have no shame in just saying no these days. You're just like, fuck off and I'm good.
Yeah, life's too short.
Yeah. That's a good
He says
template to
having
follow.
made us listen to an 11 and 18 minute
Oh,
song.
sorry, I've got a call coming.
Okay, come on.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's all. I'm gonna read. Shall I read out the rest of it? Because like these next 3 verses I've got.
You can read
It's
some
a
of it
lot.
if you
It's a
want.
lot. I'm gonna skip to this bit. Because I really don't know what's going on with this. Like weird.
Well, I
Metaphors.
seem to think it was like a story like cursed pirates, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, he's a cursed
Which-
So
pirate.
your
yeah.
notes start there, so I'm gonna go there. So verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Which-
The mariner kills the bird of a good omen.
Oh, hang on a minute, Emma. We have to go back a bit.
go on.
They come across a storm, and their ship gets diverted to Antarctica,
Okay.
to the land of snow and ice. to a place where no one's been. So they are deserted, they are sort of shipwrecked, they don't know, where they are because of this storm. And along comes the albatross.
Alright, let's go on this
Which
albatross.
is a big-ass bird.
So, verse number 5. The mariner kills the bird of a good omen. His shipmates cry against what he's done. But when the fog clears, they justify him and make themselves part of the crime. Why did he kill the albatross?
Hungry?
I don't know what the albatross did to, because it's a bird of good omen, and seafarers saw that as a bird of good luck.
Is that why an albatross is like a really high score in golf? Because it's like the one below hole in one.
Is that why Monty Python trying to sell it at shows?
Like albatross. That would make sense.
You can get below hole in one.
Well, no. Hole in one's
Put
like
it through a black hole or something.
But if you, I guess if you're on like a par 4 and you got a hole in one, that's called an albatross, isn't it? Or
What is it? Goes
par 3?
birdie?
I think it might eagle and then albatross. So yeah, it's the third one.
All right,
I'm trying to go back to Wii golf right now.
Hey, my references are on point today. I've had Fergie, I've had Eamon, I've had Will Ferrell, now I've had golf. I don't know about golf.
Yeah, Coleridge didn't. I don't think he really explained, because I went and read the poem and it doesn't really say why he did it. Maybe it was a slip or something, his crossbow. He did it with a crossbow apparently, and
I mean, it's very
maybe he was just cleaning his crossbow.
Yeah.
And,
Decent
I don't
shot
know.
though.
So,
I mean, they're big birds. But maybe he's just hungry. Like, there's a lot of wing on an albatross.
speaking of hunger, let's go on to drought. So,
Okay.
verse number 6.
Hang on a minute, Emma. You know when they say, first of all, they say, "Look, what have you done? You've killed the albatross," but then they become complicit in the crime. So, is that sort of
Is that a joint curse?
peer pressure? Why did they decide to sort of, condemn him one moment and then sort of say, "Oh yeah, it was all right. He deserved it."
Well, it's not very clear, is it, Mr. Poet
They
Coleridge?
went along with. Well, isn't that the whole thing about a poem? You leave it a little bit sort of,
No, man. I want
vague.
complete solidness.
But you
This
won't
is-
get that in poetry, though, will you?
That's true. There's a lot of...
Because it's all about mysticism, storytelling. Use your own imagination. You fill in.
Did
bits
you kill
between
the
lines.
bird? Why?
Anyway, but then the albatross lore continues. So the 6th verse, the albatross begins with its vengeance. A terrible curse, a thirst has begun.
Yeah.
The shipmates blame the bad luck on the mariner. About his neck the dead bird is hung. So now the albatross is causing a drought, right, for the shipman.
Yeah, because it said, "Look, why did you kill me? I'm going to get you guys back with my supernatural powers."
It's a bit odd, man.
Hey,
They all go a
he
bit
was
crazy.
stoned when he did it.
Yeah, this is some fucking wacky tobacco shit. Man.
I did say this like if you read the lyrics just one by one without knowing what the songs are, it is very much like a crackhead's like pipe dream, you know.
Do you know what? I think it's a great story because I love all those seafaring sort of horror type stories, and I think ghost ship and stuff. I just love all that. So I really like this.
Have you listened to any Ailstorm?
Ailstorm.
Not hailstorm.
No,
Ailstorm.
Ailstorm.
No, I didn't realise there was
A
an
pirate
Ailstorm.
metal band.
Oh, I'll have to catch them.
you
Yeah.
show me them. They're freaking wicked, to be fair.
Yeah, they are.
All right, I'll definitely check them out. Me
So was he like
matey.
just sitting stern like 1797 like, Sirs, so there was this albatross.
I mean, just to come up with that concept, whether you're stoned or not.
He was traversing on a boat with some shipmen. And then he just goes on this random high... This just seems like a high man's rant. Like it's got, and then you know what happened next? And then this happened.
And then this happened.
And then this happened.
And then we got burgers.
I think it's
I'm rather famished, aren't you guys? Yes, the story is like peckish. What's it called? What's the word I'm looking for?
Parched.
Not parched. Oh, forget it. My train of thought is gone. Anyway,
I like to think
this
he's at the wedding, like blocking off the buffet. He's eating things off the buffet, but he's just talking while he's going. I was really thirsty.
I'm just suddenly so famished. Right, anyway, that is... So I just find this a bit... This is very much a high person writing something right now. This is very much a stoner's guide to the sea that I'm reading. And that's all I've got for that. And then the drought sort of thing continues because I'm going to go on to verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There calls the mariner, there comes a ship over the line. But how can she sail with no wind in her sails and no tide? Is this a drought mirage?
It's well, if you
it's
read
like-
on, you'll find out. If you
Yes.
read on, you'll find out.
It's basically like a siren.
It's death and she life in death come along on this ghost ship.
Alright, let's go to that. Okay, I want to read that entire thing out. See, onward she comes. This is just after that final verse
Yeah.
that I said before. See, she See, onward she comes, onward she nears out of the sun. See, she has no crew, she has no life. Wait, but there's two. Death and she, life in death. They throw their dice for the crew. She wins the mariner, and he belongs to her now. Then crew one by one, they drop down dead. 200 men. She, life in death. She lets him live, her chosen one. What the fuck is going on here? Like,
they play a game. They roll the dice.
Who's the two?
So you've got death
And life and death.
and life
got
in
it.
death. So
That's
the
cool.
living dead, almost.
Got
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah,
more
yeah.
sense. I am.
And she
I'm on
deems
board.
so the life in death. She's a pale, deathly fair woman, and so she deems the mariner living a life where he's the Walking Dead almost. Because the curse and everything and the experience of what he's been through. So she deems that more valuable to her than claiming the souls of the 200 shipmates.
They must be pretty annoyed though, because
Who Death
he
got?
killed the albatross. Like,
That's
No,
his
but-
curse.
but
That's
then-
his penance.
But, yeah, I was going to say then you have to live with the fact that you just killed
Effectively
200
murdered,
people.
Yeah, there are consequences,
and an
Ryan.
albatross.
I love that
That's
in this next verse.
201.
They even had a little bit of maths in there as well. Instead of just saying 200 souls, it's just like 4 times 50 living men. It's like, okay.
Poetry,
you.
Stuart.
I mean, it's just
Maiden maths.
it's big shack before he's even born.
Alright, on to that next verse. Have you got anything else you want to...
No. It's
So,
just a
one after
lovely
one.
voyage.
One
Yeah.
after one by the star-dogged moon. Too quick for of Arsenal scored.
Twice.
Oh, nice. Too
You
quick.
probably noticed me going,
Yeah, I did. Got it on camera. Too quick for groan or sigh. Each turned his face with ghastly pang, and cursed me with his eye. 4 times 50 living men, and I heard nor sigh nor
it just
groan.
sounds weird. 'Cause
With heavy thump and lifeless lump, they dropped down one by one.
it just sounds weird, doesn't it? Just say, it's like, if somebody had said that to you, it's like, oh, what time is it? It's 2 times 2. I'd be like, what's
Also,
wrong with you?
Ryan,
Just tell me it's
thump
4.
definitely rhymes with lump. I'm just going to throw it out there for
Yeah,
your,
yeah, it's a good spot, Emma.
it's a
Well
good,
done.
it's a good rhyme. It's a good rhyme is all I'm saying.
Wait, what
Thump and lump.
where's the... Oh, alright, I was looking for thump there.
Anyway, this confused me. And cursed me with his eye. Who's his eye?
Where are you?
Middle of that verse. So, and cursed me with his eye. Who is the he?
Each turned his face.
Each turn,
So the
each
dead men.
of the 200 that
Oh,
were dying,
right,
they
right.
cursed you. I curse
Oh,
you
ghastly pang.
for killing that.
I didn't know what a
albatross.
ghastly pang was. Now I do, I guess.
What did you think it was?
No, I have no
It's a
idea.
kind of gosh.
So cool, got you. Okay, that's very good
That
imagery.
was quite ghastly.
Yeah, that
That was
is
decent.
ghastly indeed.
So I think that was Richard Burton, an actor, reading that bit to give it that poetic atmosphere.
I mean,
Yep.
I'm going back to the start again. If
Yeah.
you're at a wedding, why are you telling people about when you
Wait
made
until
200 people
right,
die?
all will be revealed.
I'm hoping so, because
All
this is
will
an
be
awful
revealed.
guest. I am not inviting him to my wedding.
He probably wasn't a guest. I'm sure he gate crashed.
It's true.
Even
He
so,
probably
Okay,
floated
anyway,
in
he's
getting
supernaturally.
out.
It's Vince Vaughn, is that what you're trying to say? Vince Vaughn and no one else.
The rest is pretty clear and straightforward.
I got nothing. We're doing a heavy metal band. What do you want from me?
The rest of the verses are pretty clear and straightforward, so I'm going to hand over to Dad because I can see you've got some notes you want to...
Oh, just a few notes. He starts praying for their beauty, not doom. So he was wishing that he was dead and all the sea creatures were dead and everyone was dead. But the sea creatures lived on. So did he.
We've all
His
felt like
crewmates
that.
died, eh? Everybody, just go. Let's all just kill it.
Just yourself.
But then he starts praying. So I think there's a message here: the power of prayer, the power of good. You can turn things around by positive thoughts.
This is how you can tell I'm not religious, because you literally just put at the bottom, weird religious moral shoehorn.
You don't have to be religious to,
I
to think about
appreciate
thought vibrations and
Yeah, I know.
metaphysics.
I appreciate the message behind it, but it's just like, wow, this is a long story for you should appreciate shit more
Yeah.
often. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those sort of like old like tales, like, isn't it? To
Yeah.
like teach somebody a lesson where there's a moral to the story.
Oh, the albatross comes back.
Spoilers.
There you go. Then the spell starts to break, and the albatross falls. Then you got this brilliant guitar solo. So, through the power of prayer, he's actually rescued their souls from death. And
No more ghastly pangs.
Gotta have faith, that faith, that faith.
yeah, and the good spirits actually steer the ship home. So it's a bit like Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, when the skeletons kind of they sort of
When all the
guide
gold,
the
first
ship.
one,
when
not
all
any
the
of the other
Aztec,
ones.
Yeah.
when all the Aztec gold is returned.
Yes.
Sorry.
So yeah, revenge is still sore. Penance starts again. So it's not quite over yet. So he's on his way home. The curse is lifted. The souls go to a better place. And then you're gonna find this a bit weird, guys, because a boat comes sailing towards them, a real boat, and it's got the captain, his son, and a hermit.
He's not a very good hermit.
I was going to say, he's out and about.
But the hermit's on a quest. He's he
Hermits
takes
have
on.
never been on a quest.
Oh, this one is.
It's an opposite of a hermit.
He actually hears his confession.
He was high as fuck, man.
He hears
Then
his
there was this
confession,
hermit.
gives him absolution.
Right, hang on. In the 80s.
Maybe it was a
with-
hermit crab.
Oh, it could have been. I was thinking in the 80s as well, like the Muppets were quite big then. Maybe you thought it was Kermit. That would be
Yeah.
more interesting.
Can I help out?
The poet was written in 1797.
Yeah. Definitely hermit.
I mean,
I don't think Kermit's going to be in there.
that would have been a really weird twist.
So here is the mariner's curse now. So he has to go and tell his tale and enlighten other people of the error of his ways and be a better person. So he's got to go and tell them the moral of the story.
But but the trick is he has to do it at weddings.
A wedding is one place. He could have done it at EOD football match.
Nice.
Or he could have done it at some archery sort of
That's a weird
competition.
pull. What is wrong with everyone today?
I was going back to 1797.
The kid is like, do you want to watch
In
the archery
Sherwood.
this weekend? Oh,
But here's the best
The
one.
Sherwood Cup.
Here's the best line for me, guys.
Robin
The best
Hood's
message.
injured, I don't want to go.
Do you want to hear the best message?
Go on.
So, to teach God's word by his own example, that we must love all things that God made. Veganism.
Oh, shut up.
Oh no!
There you
No,
go.
I'm not having
That's
It's
the
gone from one
best
form of preaching
message.
to another.
So look, environmentalism, look after everything God made, the planet, the creatures, the environment, everything.
Oh, Dad,
So what a wonderful message.
I support you, and I'm going towards veganism myself. But for God's sake, every podcast.
It's clear as day.
Also,
I guess this is his religion now. So,
Oh, we'll come to that later. It's a fun fact. The Iron Maiden religion.
anyway,
So it's the thing is, look, you've got the power and the choice to kill a bird or one of God's creatures, but you've also got the power not to for an unnecessary reason.
but then
So-
I was going to say, but then
So
he
you're
had
saying
200 people
he
died.
should have killed the sea creatures if he was going to eat them.
what if he
That's
wanted
an
to, what if he
unnecessary
wanted
reason.
to kill
Doesn't
the
mean-
albatross?
I mean, they're hungry on the boat. There's 201 men.
Yeah, they don't have vegan restaurants back in 1791.
They came with plenty of supplies.
How did they?
Well, why did he kill the albatross then?
Yeah.
That's
But
what
the
I'm
drought
thinking.
killed them, not lack of food.
It's like that old Heinz advert where there's like meat everywhere in the ship.
The drought
An empty
killed
bottle of
them.
ketchup.
Killed them. Death
I
took
think, I
them.
think lack of water didn't help, Ryan.
But the death boat, the death on the death boat.
Oh my God! An hour in, can we move on?
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Last line. And the wedding guests a sad and wiser man, and the tale goes on and on and on. I still don't know why they're at a wedding. You haven't answered that question.
No, 'cause
It's
he's telling
one
the same to
scenario.
everyone.
He's
Yeah, but I
got
don't
to
get-
tell his tale everywhere.
It's stupid, is what I'm saying.
He might do a lecture at a school. You know, he might sort of tell a fellow workmate. He
Alright.
might,
This is my first gripe with this. This makes no fucking sense, like at all. I don't know why I Maiden would choose to like do this when I have no idea what's going on. Like I get the storytelling.
It's
the
one of their
story's
most
great.
popular songs.
The story's great.
Yeah.
The story's great.
Yeah.
But the setup is weird as fuck. Is all I'm
Can you
saying.
imagine in a school just the teacher going, and today, children, we've got the undead mariner. Please, everyone, applaud the undead mariner. Thank you. And he just tells this tale.
Aye, kiddies.
It's a ghost story. It's a ghost story,
But a wedding? I just don't get it. Look, let's move on because I'm never going to understand this weird
Okay,
rationale of the stoner poem from the 18th
we'll have an
century.
after podcast discussion, I mean.
Anyway, right.
It's Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the Dark.
A real anthem at live gigs. This is next level stuff.
Did we go to that tour?
They play at every
No,
concert.
but did we go to the... No, we didn't. We went to the...
Oh, Fear of the Dark
Final
was
Frontier.
92.
Final Frontier.
Yeah.
Okay, Fear of the Dark, 1992. Song about self-inflicted paranoia.
Self-inflicted.
Sorry, no.
It's actually ammo.
Not inflicted. I can't read my writing.
Self.
But we'll go for paranoia. Oh no, it is. No, I'm right.
No,
I'm right. It's self-inflicted. No, I'm right. It's self-inflicted. We'll come on to that later. I'm right.
Well, hang on. All right, let me see. Steve Harris wrote this because he is scared of the dark. And there is actually... Do you know what it's called?
Spoilers.
The Fear of the Dark. Do you know what
We're
Fear
gonna
of the
make
Dark's
I
called?
should know because I used to be scared of the dark, but I don't, I'm afraid.
So it's called nyctophobia.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we're fear of possible or imagined dangers concealed by darkness. And it evokes fear and anxiety.
No, but he calls it himself. I'm going to skip forward to like verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Watching horror films the night before, debating witches and folklores, the unknown troubles on your mind may be your mind displaying tricks you sense and suddenly eyes fix on dancing shadows from behind. His fault.
Touche, sir. Touche.
His goddamn self-inflicted paranoias because he's watching too many scary films.
Hey, look, I still watch the odd horror and they stay with me for days, really.
Yeah, you're a bit of a wimp.
It's reverse about cheese before bed.
No, there is not. But that would have been
Maybe it should be.
the cherry on top. The fromage on top. I've got a question for you guys now. Because of this topic, I was like, have any horror films ever kept you up at night? And
Yes.
like I said before the podcast started,
Yes.
the biggest one I think in my entire life was a Doctor Who episode. The Weeping Angels.
Oh, yeah.
That was flipping terrifying because I just didn't want to close my eyes.
Don't blink.
Yeah, exactly. Don't blink, and I couldn't. I couldn't go to sleep. That's the only time I've watched Saw. I've watched the most horrific horror films in terms of gore and also psychological torture. That's the one. I think I was like an early teen then. Like 11, 12.
I remember.
That is the one that's got me. So I was wondering, you guys, what has got you in the same way? Have
Well,
you been got good by horror?
I'm awful with horror films. I must admit, I don't watch a lot of them at all. I'm a big wimp. But I must admit, the one that got me, that I distinctly remember struggling to sleep for quite a while, was when I was quite young at the time, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
And I think it might be just... It's not even Freddy Krueger. Like, Freddy Krueger's quite terrifying, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's the concept of, like, the fact that you can't even sleep away. Like he will get you in your
there,
dreams.
baby.
You are completely defenseless.
Yeah.
The thing is, you literally can't even escape sleep because you can stay up as long as you want. I think, what's the world record for longest someone's gone without sleeping?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's a few days, but like you physically like will just pass away if you don't sleep, or you will it will be terrible. Essentially, you're gonna feel very.
That's
sick.
a good one. Nightmare on Elm Street's a very good one.
Freddy Krueger.
By strange coincidence, that's the one I've got.
There you go.
So,
You've written it down in preparation for this.
yeah, it's here, look.
Huh.
So when I
Lines, guys. Lots of psychic
there's something
linking
going on here,
We're
Stuart.
hanging
Something
out way
definitely
too much.
going on here. So I think, rather than to like skip over this, because what the lyrics...
I'm not skipping. I'm going back to
Are you
it.
going to go back?
I just
Right,
wanted to prove
okay.
a point.
So I was going to say, I've felt everything that's captured in these lines, really.
Yeah, we
you
haven't
know.
heard your two horrors choices.
Okay, so back in 1986, when I was a student at the Polytechnic of Wales. So imagine this, everyone's gone home for Easter. It's
I start all my stories like that now, don't I?
Yeah.
I really do.
what's that? Back in
Nothing. Carry on. Move on.
Okay. So there's a friend of mine. He got a job as a warden in halls of residence, and they were right at the top of the hill. And so he said, "Come on over, let's watch Nightmare on Elm Street on video." So went to watch it. We're the only ones in the whole of the halls of residence. The campus is empty, and I live somewhere off campus. After watching that, how scary it was, with all the kind of mind sort of games as well. Had to walk all the way through campus. It was a windy, leaves rustling, and this song sums up what I was experiencing. I was terrified, and when I got into...
Did you hear "bitch" in the wind?
Honestly, I dared look back. My skin, the hair on the back of my that neck was like, goosebumps. And I did quicken up my pace. That one did it, and the Evil Dead in 82.
That's not that bad.
It was back in that day. At that time, we hadn't seen Sam
We watched
Raimi's
it here, yeah.
Horror Night.
Yeah.
Sam
It was like a
Raimi.
one and only horror
Yeah,
night.
yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
What was that from? Like, is that 78 Evil Dead?
82.
82.
82, yeah.
What did we think of it? It was pretty tame, wasn't it?
It was.
There's a weird little rape scene, wasn't it?
Oh, with the
Yeah,
tree.
with the tree.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
She comes
where-
out the trapdoor, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
She's got the weird tongue.
Something else.
Yeah. Tame.
Yeah.
Tame, but I felt very desensitized whilst watching that film. I was pretty...
I think it's
Oh,
because.
We were mentioning this the other day because I watched Us on the weekend, and while it's not particularly a very scary film, there were bits in it that's supposed to be quite gruesome and like a bit jumpy, and I'm completely desensitized now. And I'm a wimp. I do not like horror films, and even I was like, yeah, this didn't
See,
get
I'm a
me.
horror fiend, but I really still want to see that. Like,
Oh, there was one.
it's
There
bad.
was one more when I said, "Hannah, can you suggest a film?" Oh, Sinister. Have a look.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh my god!
That one's the worst.
That was just.
No way, I hate that one. It's a good film, but there's a bit in it
That
where
was
they
funny.
break the rules and they scare you when it's daytime. They're not allowed to do that. They can't have a normal, nice conversation back and forth where they're explaining the backstory of where the monster comes from.
Oh, yeah.
And the motherfucker's behind him, and he's like just there, like, yeah, what's up, baby?
Wasn't that Insidious?
No, it was Insidious. Yeah, sorry, it was, yeah. But either way,
But same kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know.
that is-
Oh,
And
man.
Sinister, the worst one was when they were editing a video and the videos or the picture was on screen
Oh, and he moves.
moved.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
me, that got
yeah,
me
that's
good.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
That was big.
Anyway, we're just having a horror like
Ryan,
podcast
finally, quick one.
I can't think of one.
All right, quick.
now. He's
move on.
made of steel. He's made of steel.
We had
that's
horror
why.
night. Anyway, Fear
Nothing
of.
stops me sleeping.
Well, that was a really nice intro into Fear of the Dark. So, you can do this then, Dad. You can do the first because you've got loads of things here.
Oh, I think that's pretty much.
All right, cool.
Pretty much me.
Let's-
I've said what.
So I like this
The
verse.
intro,
Verse
yeah.
number 3. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a phobia that someone's always there. Now, I like this. That sums up paranoia like to a T. And the next verse: have you run your fingers down the wall and have you felt your neck skin crawl?
Yes.
Like you just
Yes.
Very again. I just think this is a running theme throughout Iron Maiden. The most vivid imagery I think we've discussed on the podcast so far.
Yeah. definitely.
And you sense that someone's watching you. So relatable.
Yeah.
But I've got one more point. Sorry, this is me
Yeah.
skipping ahead. Sorry, this is gonna be 1, 2,
Nope.
3, 4, 5. Verse 6. Have you ever been alone at night, thought you heard footsteps behind, and
Yes.
turned around, and no one's there? And as you quicken up your pace, you find it hard to look again because you're sure someone's there. We've all, at any point in time, at multiple points in our lives, have felt like this. I remember when I was young.
Yeah.
I was the last one downstairs, so I had to lock up. Everyone has this. You lock up, you do the alarm, and
Yeah.
you just run upstairs. Like
You have to switch the
and you
lights
run.
off.
Yeah. Just like and then leg it. And I was like, this is everyone can relate to this, no matter who you are,
Yeah.
across the entire world. Which is
I
why
think it's a universal feeling to be kind
Scared
of
of the dark. Yeah.
It is a very human thing.
I have a little anecdote for you.
Oh, go
No.
on, then, Mr. No Horror Film.
So we were drinking at one of our friends' house, and me and my friend Andrew were walking home through the park. Yeah, it's quite a long walk, like it's
Yeah.
like a good 45-minute walk. And it was dark, and we're both a bit drunk. But when I'm walking, I will always check behind me to see what's going on.
Right.
And he was freaking out. He was like, "Stop looking behind you!" freaking me out. But I just do it because I'm like just checking around me.
Yeah,
I was a
that.
martial artist, so I'm
Oh.
used to checking surroundings anyway.
To quote
And,
Liam Neeson, be mindful of your surroundings.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
really freaking him out. And
Was it?
Yeah, it was funny.
So it was kind of like, it's behind you. Oh no, it isn't.
Well, I was subconsciously doing it, but it was obviously freaking him out.
I must admit, I think I tend to look behind me every now and then, just out of That actually resulted in me running up to somebody and yelling at me to stop following them in London. That was a weird moment, but Anyway,
I had a
yeah.
weird moment with Mason. We were walking home once from not a night out, just a little mini pub trip, and these chavs in Sutton in a taxi stopped alongside us, called him Ed Sheeran because he's ginger,
Of course.
and then threw some bottle caps at us and then drove off.
Wow.
Anyway,
Delightful.
I thought I'd share that. Shout out to Mason.
Are they preparing Ed Sheeran for the post-apocalyptic wasteland when we use bottle caps as money?
I think maybe.
No, and
Some Mad
you
Max
control
Ed
that
Sheeran
as a thing,
shit. Ed Sheeran performing at the Thunderdome. Anyway, lyrics. Go.
So where are we? We're at the verse that you
I've-
started off with, watching
I've-
horror.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got to quicken up.
We've got down to
I think we pretty much covered
Fear
it.
of the Dark, second.
Yeah, I think we've got to back to watching horror films.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
But again, I have to mention the music. It's so driving, and you can sort of quicken up your pace, and the music paces up.
My lazy summary was describing A Fear of the Dark plus guitar riffs. So I mean, it worked. But after listening to it again, I did try to, because I said that this one was quite a simplistic one. You know, the song's called Fear of the Dark, and he pretty much describes in great detail what it's like to be afraid of the dark.
Yeah, it's self-explanatory.
Stuart, you got to watch Rock in Rio when they performed in front of 350,000 fans in Brazil. It was just, it looked like an ant colony, you know, the kind of the helicopter shot. And they're singing every word, every note, every guitar solo note. It was just next level stuff, really.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
So you should definitely check that out. Yeah.
What I was going to say was I did try to find like hidden meanings as well. I tried to maybe go down some weird avenue to try and find different message behind it. And a lot of people attribute like the fear of the dark and like the idea that somebody like might be near you. You ever get the feeling of like, oh, did somebody walk on your grave? You get like that sort of like shiver days when it tends to be linked with the idea that that somebody that you've loved in the past who's maybe no longer with you. So the idea that they're still with you in like a sort of spiritual sense. So the idea that a lot of people, the reason why they fear the dark is because they're not sure if it's somebody that they are familiar with, or if it's somebody that might be extra. So I thought maybe
or someone that they'd wronged and they're coming back to haunt them.
Exactly.
I'll get you.
They're being haunted in the wrong way, especially Mr. Blooming Mariner from the last one. Anyway, so I put down here that it's a metaphor for lost loved ones reaching out from beyond, and that's almost
interesting.
But it's impossible for them to be able to like reconnect. And I quite like the last line where it's like almost a realization. It's like, okay, even if that is the truth, when the lights are on, there's no more dark. I am still alone. So it's kind of a sad realization that even if they are still with me, they're not at the same time. So it's kind of very like a bittersweet sort of realization.
I agree.
In that sense.
Cool. Boom.
And I guess if you do feel them with you,
very nice.
You've got to encourage them to let go and move on.
Exactly.
Agreed. Right.
Great song.
When the wind blows.
AKA the Brexit
When the
song.
wild wind blows.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I love this song. One of my favourite Maiden songs, definitely.
So back in 2010, so modern age Maiden.
2011, it was the Final Frontier. When we saw
Why have I got all these dates wrong? Oh, you do dates from now on.
That's okay.
Okay, so I've got here, it's basically, I've got Apocalypse, Ragnarok, Judgment Day, Nuclear Apocalypse.
I put Y2K Journal.
Oh, nice, okay, cool.
Yes.
I've gone for more nuclear.
You kind of like complete end of like.
Well, I'm watching a lot of Vikings recently, and Ragnarok's in mind. I've just watched God of War like a let's play through again, just because. Oh man, that game.
Well,
was
if it's
so good.
2011, it'll be the 2012 end of the world.
The Mayan thing, yeah.
But then references later
You just say
suggest
again,
something
It
else.
can be a lot of things, and I think it's how easy it is for media to manipulate the masses.
Literally,
and it's been done time and time again.
I did feel like I put, the first words I put were media overhype. I
fake
almost,
news. Yeah,
I almost felt like the way when he says, have you heard what they say on the news today? Have you heard what's coming to us all? It almost felt like he was saying it in like a jovial manner, oh yeah, we're all gonna die at the end of the day. It almost felt like. How, like you say with the Mayan thing, people they were joking about it. It's not really a thing. It's like, have you heard we're all going to die on like December 21st? Like it almost felt like it's like maybe you shouldn't listen to everything you hear in the news. Not everybody is going to die in the end of freaking December.
Yeah.
It was kind of exaggerated and blown out of proportion. And that's what I felt from just the tone in his voice.
Yeah.
In that sense.
But with modern society and digital media, the speed of news that we get, it's like that, isn't it?
Oh, it's
and it's so, and they sensationalize and hype everything. Whether it's someone getting mugged down the road or the wars or whatever. It's so easy to really, really get the masses pumped up. Through social media and crowd frenzy.
That's why I called it the Brexit song.
It all makes
It was a
sense
few
now.
years prior.
I had the Millennium Bug as well. How everyone got hyped up about when the clock counters go to 2000 and we're going to lose all our power and water and everything.
So I said Y2K Journal on mine. And LOL. Why did I write LOL? What's wrong with me?
It's your notes.
I thought you were texting.
It's like I must have
You're laughing at yourself. God, I'm so funny.
Chortle. Just going back to the Mayan calendar, why did the people think it was going to end
It's literally
Have they heard of the Gregorian calendar?
I know.
They're going to go crazy.
You know what?
Every year it ends.
I was so mad about that day. Not because the world ended. Yeah, he was still here. It was more the fact that my one of my best friends, his birthday is the 21st of December, and it would have been his 21st.
Oh shit!
And I was like, if there's ever a perfect excuse to have an end of the world party, and he didn't fucking do it. We went bowling, fuck's sake. I was mad.
So you're going to go? Go in style.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, there's literally, we might be dead tomorrow. Let's have a no tomorrow party. And it was like, nah, it's fine.
That was a wicked meme, to be fair, looking back at it. That was really good. Sorry. Anyway.
What were you going to say, bud?
I was going to go on to verse number 4.
So, where are we then?
Unless you got anything you want to say prior.
As he stares across the
it's just another beautifully written song. I mean, for me, when this came out, I was playing it over and over again. And it was quite a sad song for me because I had to go and drop Ammo off to Swansea Uni. So it's the first time my son's leaving home, he's going. And I was really... And this song kind of like, was at that time. So it reminded me of having to go and drop Ammo and drive back.
I mean, that was your apocalypse, let's face it.
What,
Me leaving this abode.
How do you think I feel now? Even though you're only going over there.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Anyway, I want to get into the words.
Anyway, yes.
So the reason why I think... Oh, by the way, fourth verse... Sorry, something just happened. No, we're all good. We're all good people. Fourth verse, as he stares across the garden looking at the meadows. Who the fuck looks at meadows in 2019?
This is an elderly couple.
Meadows?
They're in the country.
Meadows
They're in the
exist,
country.
Meadows.
Greenery,
It's just such a
grass,
foreign
fields.
concept. Like, how rare is that
I like
in the mass
it's like,
populace?
instead of meadows, it's like, why is he not staring at Starbucks? Come on. They're everywhere.
It's just... Yeah.
The screens now, guys.
come
Like,
on.
what are you doing?
In my head, I'm like, this does not happen anymore.
Meadows, like the Windows screensaver. Yes.
The XP one. That's what I don't know why I wrote that. In retrospect, that is a dumb thing to say.
I must admit, finding out that it was written in released in 2010, it has changed my perspective a bit, because I assumed this was also in the 80s, and I also assumed that this song was like from, I don't know, a different time when maybe the news wasn't quite as impactful. I thought maybe they were a bit ahead of their time again, like with the Run to the Hills.
Maybe. So I read that and I just thought of Anakin and Padme and I think Attack of the Clones. And I was like, I think I've got negative connotations with meadows now. I don't know why. Looking back at it, why have I reacted so negatively to meadows? I know they exist. I know they're like still here.
How do you
And I
feel
was
about
like,
sand?
Okay, why?
Oh, okay. We're not gonna continue the Star Wars reference. That's fine.
Which bit?
It's coarse. It's horrible. It gets everywhere. Anakin says.
Oh God, shit! Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
The
It's been a
lemon
long
bit.
night, Brad.
Sorry, I'm just imagining the cutting up lemon with the force bit now.
Good
Sorry.
lord, yeah.
Anyway, oh God, yeah, you're right. Verse number.
Isn't it a pear?
It might be.
She doesn't eat a lemon. Who eats lemon?
Oh my
I didn't
God!
quite that either.
All right.
A lemon.
All right, bad reference. Right. Next one is I've got verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, on the whole apocalypse vibe, the reason I think it's a nuclear sort of apocalypse is there will be a catastrophe the like we've never seen. There will be something that will light the sky. So light the sky, just think bombs, big ass.
Yeah,
goddamn
definitely.
I mean, it could be Judgment Day from like I don't know. Some figure appearing from the heavens and just shining a light of death upon us.
It could just be a promo
Hell.
for the new Game of Thrones.
Could be Game of Thrones.
What, projected in the sky?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
No one cares. Anyway, that the world as we know it will never be the same. Did you know? And then I like this imagery in the next verse. So he carries everything into the shelter, not a fuss. And I can imagine I imagined you in the apocalypse, like just grabbing loads of vegan shit and just having like
My tofu.
overflowing with raw vegan protein and just running to the
My tins of beans and
yeah,
and I'd probably do it with my my kind of DIY clothes and my boots and stuff.
your work coat, high vis.
Yeah. Oh,
Not in
First as well.
there
I
is-
can just come along, Ammo.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Anyway,
Let's frolic and skip to the bunker.
I thought that was really cool imagery. I like that because I can imagine any sort of father figure just carrying as much shit as he can to their designated bunker. It was cool. And
Because enough supplies to last them a year or two, because you never know. So he's got a kind of, looks like this is going to happen, but you never know. We might survive, and let's just grab some resources to keep us going.
Question.
Yeah.
Next verse. They tell us nothing that we don't already know about. They tell us nothing that is real at all. I like that. That's relatable to any period of history. They only fill us with the stuff they want. And I like how that can change so dramatically over time. Again, this is what Iron Maiden songs have another theme. Relatability, no matter what the decade you're in.
Yeah, because...
it's all the same shit.
Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, because a couple of quotes. George Orwell, famous quote from him, "The people will believe what the media tells them they believe." Malcolm X.
Where I read 1984 somewhere. Yeah, anti-Big Brother, 1984.
Yeah, there you go. And Malcolm X. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses.
I feel like we're becoming a hive mind at this point. Before.
Just to break that, talking about they tell us nothing. You know who also knows nothing? Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Shut up, Ryan.
Wow, some random references coming in today.
Beautiful.
No one cares, right?
Plenty of people do.
I don't care.
You don't care. That's what he means to say.
Did you see the Iron Maiden cartoon YouTube video?
No, I've not.
It's
I
a
didn't know that was a
brilliant.
thing.
So someone's made a cartoon of this, and Eddie joins this elderly couple as they're loading the stuff into the bunker, and he starts helping them.
Oh,
So he actually goes into the bunker with them.
Is it as good as the up sequence at the start of Up?
Yeah, definitely.
That is not a good sequence. That is
So
sad.
Eddie's
It's
a
sad,
good
it's a
guy.
beautiful
Eddie's a good
story.
guy here. He's helping.
I like
them
this
out.
hoping an old couple. That's nice.
I guess he wants to protect himself and survive himself as
Yeah,
well.
but
Looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
It really can. A demon can help you out from time to time.
and I bet he has some great stories. Like you were in there for a year or two, you want some good stories.
Eddie's like the Doctor, isn't he? He just sort of rejuvenates to something different every album. So he's got like a different...
Oh yeah. He's different guises, and he's in a comic as well. Anno got me this comic, Legacy of the Dead.
Signed.
Beast.
Yeah,
Did I say
Legacy of the Dead, listeners.
Well, that's autofocus. Well done. Well done, Kat.
No, look, I turned it this way.
Oh, well
so
done.
it's the light catching on it.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead.
Let's have a look.
Wait,
Anything?
does that say dead or beast?
Beast.
I thought so, yeah. When he said dead, I was like, my mind just fucked that word up completely. Anyway.
I want to go on to the next page.
Okay.
Do you have anything more to add?
Oh, in that cartoon, there was another little reference to the Bible. The Revelation of St. John the Divine, chapter 16, verse 21. And there fell of men a great hail out of heaven. Apocalypse. So there is a biblical sort of lean as well, if you want to take the interpretation that way.
Can I move on to the next page?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to move on to... they make a tea and sit there waiting.
Oh, hang on, Emma. Why have you missed out? He sees the picture on the wall. It's falling down.
I did say, twice, anyone got anything else? I'm going to move on to the next page. Go on.
Oh, yeah, this was really good for me.
Also, an hour and a half in, just going to throw that out there. So,
Okay. Right. It's Stuart and Ryan coming up with all these random references of...
Sorry.
stay on target.
Yeah. So this was really good because he sees a picture falling down and he remembers the times that he and his wife shared together, like a lifetime, probably 60 odd years together. And it reminded me of that picture you got from for our 30th wedding anniversary, which has got a picture of us when we got married, a picture of us on the 30th anniversary, and these guys have got another one when they're quite elderly. So I thought, wow, I'm in my final third here. So that I thought was very good.
Your
very
final
good.
frontier there.
Yes, indeed.
Hardy ha ha.
Yeah.
Did you write lol when you wrote that one? Because I did.
In my mind.
In your head. In your mind's eye.
Right, ready?
Go on then, yeah. They make a tea. Yeah.
They make a tea and sit there waiting. This is on the second half of the song now. They make a tea and sit there waiting. They're in the shelter, feeling snug. Not long to wait for absolution. Don't make a fuss. Just sit and wait. I like this because what would you do when waiting for that moment of the apocalypse? Because I would be bored shitless and would just find something to do. I'll probably watch YouTube until like the end of the apocalypse, watch another Afro century video.
But isn't this the ultimate English thing? Stay calm. Was it keep calm,
and carry on?
Carry on. And to have a tea solves everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
A cup of tea in any stressful situation.
I feel like they have missed
Nothing
out,
can't be solved.
Because they could have said, they're making a tea, it's in their mug. They're waiting their shelter, feeling snug.
Oh, mug and snug!
But they've just
Does it rhyme? Yes,
It should have.
Maybe you didn't go with the flow of the song. Yeah,
Well, like, what would you do? If, like, actually, it's too many.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what would you
I'll
do
tell you,
when you if you were going to die?
Drake and his 8 writers would have caught that one. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's actually 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was 12.
One at a
The
time.
dirty dozen, yeah. What would you do?
Writers.
What would you do? I don't know, would you get signal in a bunker?
It depends.
You
Like,
wouldn't
it
have
also,
Wi-Fi,
also
yeah,
depends
Wi-Fi.
who you're with at the time as well.
Imagine if we were together,
It'd
Anna,
be a
what fun we would have.
Monopoly.
Would you just
definitely
listen to the
Monopoly.
song?
I literally just thought that. I was like, no, because my family hates playing Monopoly with me.
Oh.
That is not a thing. If we had Wi-Fi, PS4 Monopoly to like end on, that'd be good. Can McKenna finally ever beat me? Never.
The patriarchy.
I know, maybe we could just do podcasts.
I think if I was, I've always thought if I was with my significant other when I die, like if apocalypse was about to happen, it'd be have sex and eat carbs. That'd be like the two things I would
At the
do.
same time?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'd intertwine the two. Like Ben and Jerry's
Like-
and Naked Bodies would just like intertwine. It'd be a wonderful
Patrick
thing.
Bateman style in American Psycho. Just got a slice of pizza. Just, yeah.
Honestly, it'd be fucking perfect.
Just check this out.
You know, what was it? It's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of flexing, it'd just be like just numerous amounts of fried
Copious
fries,
fried shit.
pizza. Pizza with fries on it and maybe a fillet of fish on top of that, and like some.
I like that you think you're
epic
getting
mealtime
delivery
sandwich.
still in the apocalypse.
You think Deliveroo wouldn't still be a thing?
Nothing can stop those drivers.
One guy's
I
like,
guarantee-
gotta get that £10 an hour.
I guarantee there's a massive surge going on. I'd pay that surge. People thinking it's fake would be on that graft, on that grind. I'd get my McDonald's. That's all I'm saying. Right, that's how I'd end my life in the apocalypse. Sex and carbs, baby. That's pretty much it. Then I've kind of gotten. It's all very self-explanatory.
It is.
The rest of it. And then the last. It's hard to do this because there's so much content. But it is quite self-explanatory throughout, which is probably the one thing that I might hold against Iron Maiden comes to the end of it.
Spoilers.
So I'm not having like an Ariana moment where there's like, oh god, there's nothing to talk about, because there's loads of stuff to talk about, but it's just, even if we're saying the lines, they're so good that you will get what they're trying to say and the meaning behind the words instantaneously.
And you can picture the image
Vividly.
very
Unless I'm
clearly.
talking about pirates.
And so the rest is a sort of the process of someone going through that that time of the apocalyptic moment kind of thing. And then what puzzled me was the last verse. So
Can't believe it. Can you
last
see it on the
verse.
TV? All right, yes, right.
when
yeah.
they found them, had their arms wrapped around each other,
Yeah.
their tins of poison laying by their clothes. Did this family just commit suicide?
The couple did.
The couple.
So elderly couple.
Yes, the other couple committed
Yeah.
suicide, but they didn't need to because I'll go on to the next bit. The day they both mistook an earthquake for the fallout, just another when the wind blows. I thought if this is what I think it is, which is the couple committed suicide when it wasn't the apocalypse after all. What a really sad way to end this.
No. What happened was happened to be in it. First of all, they got really hyped up by, do we believe this or not? This is what we're seeing on TV. But then they start seeing it everywhere, and then, well, they've almost resigned themselves to the end. So they're in this bunker, but then they hear this rumbling, this earthquake. So they think, well, the earthquake's going to get us now. So
Logically, that just.
I think we're
doesn't make
going to
sense.
kill us. So we're at the end of our lives. What have we got left?
If you're gonna go experience the apocalyptic moment,
Well, that's
like,
the thing.
Would you want to do that?
yeah.
Would you want your body kind of like vaporized, like?
Oh,
That'd be
you
instant.
die instantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was.
But you might not. You might be some sort
It's not like in Terminator. That's a lie. You know when she's like on the gates.
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And the skull comes. It is like that. You are gone, man. You are evaporated.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, I just
maybe
find
they
that really
didn't.
odd.
Maybe they didn't want to take the chance because there might have been something else. Or
Maybe by tins of poison they mean like tins of potatoes, so
I thought
carbs.
you were going to say
And
spam.
then laying nearby their clothes, they've had sex. Carbs and sex.
That's you.
Same
And,
as your ammo.
that's you and your.
I take it all back. Well done, old couple. You go out, fucking and eating. Right.
Right, I thought that was a great song of mass hysteria, and it's happened
Media
before. With there was a radio thing. When was it? In the 1930s, where Orson Welles did a radio show on War of the Worlds, and they made it so realistic that New Jersey, New York, people were trying to flee the city. They were phoning the police up, asking for gas masks. They were saying to the electricity company, switch off the grid so the Martians can't see us.
Yeah.
So it's so easy
Yeah.
to create mass hysteria
Oh yeah,
in an instant.
especially now as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Men in Black. People are stupid. No, a person is clever, people are stupid, something like that.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah.
Like a consensus is like usually
Yeah.
wrong.
Moving on.
Are idiots.
Yep.
Moving on.
Can I say something about Empire of the
can.
Empire of the was it the Empire of the
Sorry, it's this.
Clouds.
Empire of the Clouds? Excuse me.
Oh, yeah,
Sat, would you be able to tell me what year this came out, please?
Empire of Clouds was from the Book of Souls tour in 2015.
I got it right.
Interesting.
Yes, 2015. Double
you ask?
album.
No, I was going to say because obviously they've come from how long have they been together? 44 years.
Yes.
So
Bloody hell.
Yeah. That's a good innings, isn't it?
It is. It's
You
a
got to
good
admire
lad.
longevity and still
It's
producing
That's a solid
material of this
relationship.
quality.
That is a solid polyamorous relationship right there. Good lord.
Obviously, there's been a lot of lineup changes, but Steve
Maybe
Harris, Steve Harris and Dave Murray, they've been in right from the beginning. Bruce has been in there most of the time. He had an 8-year gap where he pursued his solo career. Then he came back. Adrian Smith as well. So in the large, they've been together. Yeah,
They've
for that time.
on and off. 44. Yeah.
More on.
That's such a harsh thing to call me. Anyway, what I was going to say was, now that's quite interesting that it's fairly modern compared to obviously some of their other stuff in the 80s and what have you. This is my fun fact, and this is the
Go on.
thing. I initially thought of it when it was the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner because it was 13 minutes, and I thought, bloody hell, that's a long song. And then I've written it down there, and then of course this one is actually 18 minutes
18
and 1
minutes.
second long.
Yes.
And I thought it's quite an interesting comparison. Obviously, we've done modern artists most recently, and we talk about sort of the music industry as a whole. It's very much sort of like churn something out as quickly as possible, and streaming is very much a big part of like how you make money these days.
Yeah.
So therefore, in order to capitalize on streaming, and you get the money via each play, the shorter the song, the more often you'll get plays. That's simple as that. It's just a way to make money.
And they're like, fuck you, I don't do what you tell me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Empire of the Clouds being an 18-minute song released in 2015.
Yeah.
There's a rapper that's been out for the last 2 years. Hopefully you won't have heard of him because I don't like him that much anyway. His name's Lil Pump. Now,
You showed me this guy.
yes.
Lil Pump.
He's infamous for having extremely short songs, especially like by this standards.
Yeah.
And so much so that one of his songs, one of the more popular songs called Gucci Gang, was only 2 minutes long, which
Oh,
is
that's
very short. That's almost like an interlude in some albums.
Iron Maiden haven't even got into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That
that's
isn't
it.
even an intro.
That was the thing. Literally, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, that's when the first word was spoken in that song. So you
Yeah.
could literally listen to Gucci Gang before anyone says anything in this song. But anyway, the point I was going to say was his album, 15 songs long, you can literally listen to half of the
That
album
is mental.
by the time this song
Oh,
finishes.
that's interesting, Stuart. Very interesting. So
Fun
look
facts.
at the creativity and genius
Fun
and
facts
hard
with
graft
Stuart.
that goes into this,
It's
rather than churn something
Well, it's just a complete
throwaway
contrast.
like that.
To
Yeah.
modern music.
That's it. It's literally like this is like a relic almost of like the days of old where like expression was sort of like you took your time with it and you literally like you say there's so many like different meanings and like nobody listening to these songs can say that they absolutely got everything immediately. Like you have
Not
to
the
do
first
some like
try,
prior research. Do you know what I mean? Like there's depth to this. Whereas, in this day and age, music is very much sort of like short, snappy. It's instantaneous because of the way that the world is. And I feel like maybe in the 80s and maybe even the 90s as well, people weren't really as worried as much about like they wouldn't mind listening to a whole body of work. Whereas nowadays, it seems to be very much just what's the next hot thing.
Yeah.
So
This song's like The Prestige. You probably have to listen to it a few times before you like really got everything about it. Like 18 minutes, you're gonna miss something on your first view. You know how good your attention span is.
that's true.
Like you're not gonna get every single morsel of detail throughout it. But this is like the length of an an episode of a sitcom or
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
That's
it is.
true.
Most
It's a
of- think
about
Frasier
it.
episode.
Yeah,
think about it.
With the adverts and everything. Yeah.
Most of a Friends episode, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
crazy, right? That is
Yeah.
pretty crazy when you think about it like that for a comparison.
It's a voyage.
But no,
From
yeah.
a song, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a song.
Excellent analysis there, Stu. Very good.
But yeah, and this is why I love Iron Maiden, because, you engage in it, you connect with it, there's power, there's passion, there's storytelling, there's metaphor, great lyrics, and the music's fantastic, and, it encourages you to go and, let me find out a little bit more about the R101.
Oh yeah, shit. Let me tell you this. So before any gig me and Dad went to of an Iron Maiden shit. So before any Iron Maiden gig, Dad would literally, I shit you not, write essays about each song before we went to see them. So when I was sitting with Dad could tell me every single bit of detail about every single lyric, in case I wasn't briefed on it. But I can assure you, everyone, after each song, or even before each song, as I heard the intro, I was very much briefed on it because the Iron Maiden intros allow a lot of briefing time. So it was a very interesting gig from my perspective, because I don't normally go to gigs seated. So not only did I get a really good show, I got an edumacation as well.
Yeah, do a quick PowerPoint. This is what the song's about. Right, good to go. Right.
And Dad
Guys,
finally got an
projector
iPhone.
with it.
So yeah.
So this
Anyway.
is what I love about it. It's an experience,
Let's get into this song. So, the longest song Maiden have recorded, 18 minutes. And then the song's about the R101 British Zeppelin that crashed on their maiden voyage in 1930.
Yep.
So-
Iron Maiden voyage.
Very nice,
gotta be.
very nice.
If only it was made of iron.
It's sync, bro.
I know.
Better known as the Hindenburg tragedy. So,
No, Hindenburg was separate.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
What was that?
No.
Separate, isn't it?
The Hindenburg happened 7 years after this. And the reason why
right,
Bruce
okay,
wrote
okay.
this song, because obviously he's a mad an aviation in history,
I obviously read this wrong when I was looking at this particular website.
was that nobody really knows about the R101 disaster. And
okay,
everyone
cool,
knows about
cool.
the Hindenburg.
Okay, cool.
And this had royalty, dignitaries. It had Lord Thompson, who was the Secretary of State for Air at the time. So it was a big deal back then.
I gotta say, this is the song that feels, obviously because of its length, but also because of the way it's told, it feels most like a chapter in a book.
Yeah.
It is so eloquently written. Everything, it's like, the verses are basically paragraphs in a chapter, and it's just so good.
I kind of the comparison I drew when I was listening to it was do you ever see in old timey sort of performers in I'm trying to think of the words for it, what's the word, a bard, like the old guitarists where they literally
You mean my character?
Skipping
Yeah.
and telling stories.
It sort of feels like a weird sort of floaty storytelling, and everything has a certain stanza to it, and it sort of keeps to that sort of pace the entire time, up to obviously when it changes to the next chapter, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how the pace sort of goes up and down, and when the ship's
With the
falling,
wave.
it goes,
Yes. I did
terrifying sounds in there.
I did say that the song felt like it had an epic music video, because obviously from my perspective, I'm not that into heavy metal. I wasn't really turned on to it at all. So my only knowledge of heavy metal music is unfortunately Tenacious D. Now, as great as Tenacious D are, they're quite comedic and they're quite funny. So when I hear the songs that are quite similar to this in the sense of that they're telling a story, it's Wonder Boy and and tributes. So it's comedic and jovial. So when I hear stuff To Ride the Storm, To an Empire of the Clouds, I'm just picturing Jack Black talking about- basically. So unfortunately, it suffers from that. And
But that captured, it was the British Raj, and it was, people of self-importance and ego saying, right, come on guys, we're not going to do a trial on this ship, we're not even going to test it on a voyage. We're going to go from England to India in less than a week to break the record. Hubris. So hubris was their downfall. So I think that kind of captured what their mindset was.
Absolutely, and it also to put an exclamation point on that. They even referenced the Titanic, saying that this ship was so big, the Titanic was inside.
Clever.
And of course, Titanic was the most infamous.
Good one, Stuart.
What's the worst that can happen in history? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it was called the Unsinkable.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, good point.
We don't need enough lifeboats.
What about life little planes, like mini planes you sort of run away in? But no, I've got in the first verse to ride the storm to an empire of the clouds, to ride the storm they climb to build their silver ghost, to ride the storm to a kingdom that will come, to ride the storm and damn the rest oblivion. Imagine seeing a Zeppelin back then, because they were ginormous, these things.
777 feet, you just can't imagine it, Well, length of the Titanic,
Even today you can't imagine something like that, an airship
Floating,
like that.
yeah.
Well, I guess like a massive cruise ship.
But in the sky, and the shape it was, I just can't imagine seeing it.
Yeah.
So, but again, have you got anything to say for the verses themselves? Because again, it's just a fantastic story.
It's a
Your eyes get drawn to a hot air balloon, and that's going to be like a tenth of the size. Less than that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, Bruce Dickinson wrote all this himself. He did all the music composition, all the lyrics, everything.
Right.
And he actually owns a pocket watch from one of the survivors. And what inspired him was he built, one of these like Airfix models.
Oh, nice.
As a child, he built that of the R101.
Mm-hmm.
And he always wanted to write something about this to make people aware that, there was this other disaster other than the Hindenburg that happened. And he actually wrote the song on an electric piano that he won in a raffle. So, I don't think I've got anything in particular to say about any line. I just think it's a fantastic story, very well told, and the music really goes well with it. I can't really fault it.
I suppose like you say, I was quite short on notes with this one, which is ironic because it was like the longest
song,
But obviously, I mentioned to you in passing earlier that it fascinates me how you're not a pro wrestling fan because you're a fan of heavy metal. Because I actually saw there's actually quite a nice little bond between wrestling and heavy metal. Like a lot of pay-per-views back in the day used to feature heavy metal songs. Like most the wrestlers had rock or metal.
It was all new metal back in the day, to be fair.
Exactly,
etc. That sort of ilk.
Exactly, but obviously a Motorhead, you'd call them a heavy metal, wouldn't you?
Thrash.
They have one of the more infamous wrestling tunes for Triple H. So I do kind of see this sort of it's hyperbolic. It's very exaggerated. It's very passionate. It's very loud and in your face. I can see because obviously. I'm waffling about wrestling here, but it's storytelling. It's storytelling in its own way. That's its own art form. That's a physical sort of showcase, whereas this is more of a a musical experience in that sense. So I can see the sort of the similarities. So I'm taking him to a
story with music. Hey, don't get me wrong. I loved wrestling. Back in the Big Daddy days. Yeah, we went to see
Survivor Series tour.
You did, you told me.
619. What was his name? Rey Mysterio.
Still wrestling, by the way. Just saying.
We didn't see him.
We didn't?
We were at the Raw show. We saw Triple H and John Cena.
Also still wrestling, by the way.
I'd love to see a wrestler come on to She's the biggest vessel built by man. A giant of the skies.
Are you doing your D&D merchant voice?
But isn't it crazy at the time? The captain, the crew, they all knew it's too heavy. It's something's going to go wrong. But they still went ahead. They followed orders.
That exuberance is always, and order following is part of humanity. It's so many times repeated throughout history. Anyway, I'm going to go into a few lyrics that I like.
Okay, yeah.
So midway through the song.
It's also proof that rich people are mostly stupid.
Yeah.
Some of those war generals who just fight the wars from 18 miles behind.
Oh, the tent on the
Stephen
hill.
Fry's of the Blackadder series.
Yeah.
I love this paragraph. Reaper standing behind her. With his scythe cuts to the bone. Panic to make a decision. Experienced men asleep in their graves. Fuck, man. Imagine the size of a Zeppelin and just the vivid imagery of a giant Reaper scything through that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful imagery.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just bizarre because the crew hadn't slept for 30 hours, talking of sleep, and
Freddy Krueger's about.
they were all kind of like, sleeping off their brandy cigars and feast, and then somebody looks out the window. Oh, hang on a minute, we're at roof level. I can see houses, and then suddenly crash. It's just a bizarre thing. No one's on night watch.
Moving on.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Next song. The Number of the Beast.
The Trooper, aka the beer.
Oh,
The
shit,
Trooper. We're at the
I missed
Trooper,
that.
Ramo.
We've got 3 songs to go. Okay, we're gonna have to.
Two.
Oh, we haven't talked about views. There's a lot of YouTube views.
We're not doing this then.
What?
To be fair.
Oh, it's up to you.
No,
we
we're
don't
not
have
doing
to.
it. Oh, shall we?
I didn't write this
Guys,
down. I don't know that one.
No, let's not do it.
I wrote down the number of views. Hallowed be thy name. 59 million views.
I suppose for the time, it's one of those because when you compare
That's
it to
nothing
like,
compared to Ariana Grande.
that's
Is
the
it?
thing,
How much did
yeah.
Grande get?
She's
300
getting
million
hundreds.
to a billion?
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, really?
Like,
I thought it wasn't as much as that.
No,
Oh, hey.
that's still impressive because you mentioned obviously they've got quite a cult following.
Oh, they got not
So-
cult. It's the Iron Maiden army worldwide.
There you go.
Yeah.
It is one of those bands that sort of crops up because I hadn't listened to any of their music, but I knew of them.
Yeah,
I'd seen the logo.
yeah.
I'd seen Eddie. I didn't know his name was Eddie. but I
I've
knew
drilled
of
it into you.
You know what I mean? I knew of it. It's like it's synonymous with pop culture now. But yeah, like 59 million. They're still very, very impressive. But by today's standards, for a song that how long has that been out? I mean, video wise, 2006, I guess, because that's when YouTube was big.
Oh, I don't know when they actually
But even
put it out.
but even still, you're getting like K-pop groups now that get 100 million in about 3 days, and it's like
Okay,
what
that's put the perspective in place.
the- yeah,
But it
but
is-
even still,
It is. They're releasing it then, so all the hype is right then. Whereas the hype was in the past.
yeah, it's very very difficult to get
Yeah.
hyped.
People were like,
People are catching up.
still experiencing and enjoying
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I guess it's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the
yes.
Trooper.
The Trooper, yes, let's go on then.
About the Crimean Wars.
Yeah.
And again, another fantastic song. So I'll just go first verse. You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. Na 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 na. You'll fire your musket, but I'll run you through. Na 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 na. So when you're waiting for the next attack, na 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 na, you'd stand better, or better stand. There's no turning back. Na 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 na. So excellent opening to a song.
Yeah,
that's the most upbeat.
Because
like, what we've got
that
so
first verse, that tells me sort of like, okay, we're going to go into battle. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I die, but if I take you down with me,
It's all
I'm
good.
all right.
Yeah.
Wow, what an attitude to go in with.
You'd better stand. There's no turning back as well. Like to go into war with that attitude. That's a manly soldier right there. A strong ass soldier.
I was just going to ask, can he inform me as to what battle this is referring to? 'Cause
Okay,
they mentioned
yes.
Russians a lot.
Crimean War?
Hang on,
Oh,
I've
Crimean
got some
Wars,
good
okay, that
history
makes
on this.
sense,
yeah.
Just a little bit of background on it. So, it was the British cavalry charge. Have you heard of the Light Brigade?
Light Brigade, yeah, the Charge of the Light Brigade.
Charge of the Light
one,
Brigade.
one of the most
1950.
1854.
One
So
of,
1850.
yeah,
So-
one of the most infamous
Yes.
military mishaps of British history. Well,
It
world history,
was
I
the
guess.
Battle of the Balaclava, 1854. So again, this mad Lord Raglan, he intended to send the Light Brigade to prevent the Russians from removing captured guns from overrun Turkish positions, and that would be suited to the Light Brigade, because that's what they are, Light Brigade. But there's a miscommunication in the chain of command, and they got sent to this wall of Russian sort of guns locked and loaded, ready to just mow down
basically a
big
firing
army.
squad.
Yeah, it's a firing squad, yeah.
essentially.
So that's what happened, and this all happened in a minute. They just got massacred, pretty much all of them in like 1 minute. So it was just like a tragic loss of 118 people, getting killed, 127 wounded, all the horses and everything, just because of some, lord from the tent saying, just go over there.
Yeah, send them
It
over.
was just the British forces then that he
Yeah.
was leading. 'Cause
Yeah.
there
it's
was a
British
mix, wasn't there, in
cavalry.
the Crimean War? So it was like the British, it was like everyone in the sort of Ottoman Empire just all got against the Russians who were invading all the territories. And
Oh,
gained
yeah,
too much
I
land.
don't know enough detail about
I
it.
did a
used to
module
know
in
it.
it in uni.
Yeah.
and
Oh, right,
It's
okay.
all sort of flooding back to me in like an exam cramming kind of.
Because we talked about history earlier, about your own country's history. Do not remember talking about this. I'm guessing it wasn't a good thing for us.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
That's
Never
true.
talked about the Crimean War. Didn't really talk about the Boer War.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I didn't know about it till uni. So
You sort
Yeah.
of cherry pick the better moments, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
in uni we still learned about Nazi Germany. I'm like, I've learned about this for like
Yeah.
4
You got
years.
sick of it, didn't you?
That's the thing. Like, I obviously I did it at school and I did it in college as well.
Mm.
And we both like it's just sort of one of them. I did like 4 modules on it, and it's just sort
I'm
of
good, man.
yeah.
Hit the youth white rose. Got
A
it.
lot more stuff happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting stuff. Well, we mentioned obviously it would be interesting to find out, like, in terms of culture that wasn't Caucasian. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to find out a little bit more about like why India and Pakistan like have such a like heated. I don't want to say rivalry. That makes it sound
Partition.
Like sport. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Debate. They have a heated debate.
Yeah, they have a heat towards them. Yes, towards. each
Okay, should we move on to the second
Go
verse?
for it. I'll do it.
Go.
It's the bugle.
Yeah.
The bugle.
Like daily. Daily bugle.
Charge. Yeah.
The bugle sounds, the charge begins, but on this battlefield no one wins. The smell of acrid?
Acrid.
What is acrid?
It's like burning, acidy.
Nice, like it.
Burns your eyes. Acrid,
Acrid is
smoke.
acidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know about that. Don't like that. From an
I
etymology,
don't like your English language.
from an etymologist point of view, I don't like that. At all.
Acrid
smoke.
smoke's like a painful.
Yeah.
The smell of
Smoke
acrid
at you.
smoke and horse's breath as I plunge on into certain death. Oh.
No, it's oh.
I'm not doing that. I'm
okay,
not doing
sorry.
that.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, right.
Okay, how man.
So, I guess they all knew they were going to, die. And the Russians thought the British were drunk, because why would this light cavalry be coming towards us?
Yeah.
They thought.
Lads.
That's a fair assumption.
Or that it was a diversion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, as we race towards the human wall. And, oh gosh, can you imagine the hearing the
imagining, like,
screams
thousands
of
of
your
Al Murrays
fellow
just running.
soldiers?
Straight up. Come on, we got these lads.
What with their pints in their hands? Their pints in their hands. Well, but again, great description, great lyrics. You can just imagine it, really, I mean...
It's quite visceral, yeah.
Go on then, Emma, keep going.
I've got notes for the last verse only on this.
Okay.
Whoa.
I
You've also
read-
wrote no issues.
Yeah, I read that and then I was like, no issues still, but this needs to be talked about because this is brilliant. This is the best verse of the entire song, the last one.
Go on then, yeah.
So- And as I lay there gazing at the sky, my body's numb and my throat is dry. And as I lay forgotten and alone, without a tear, I draw my parting groan.
Wow.
The feeling of dying at war. Now, I've not imagined this before analysing this lyric. So when, obviously, massive battlefield,
Yeah.
thousands die, millions die. Imagine being there, like, wounded, you're gushing blood.
Yeah.
You know it's your final moments because you're going to bleed out soon.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
numb with pain. What the fuck must you be thinking? Like, it is just so horrifying to think. You're just there waiting for death.
Or is he drunk? My body's numb and my throat is dry.
Shit.
I lay forgotten and alone.
I think we have a-
is already pissed.
I think we have a trooper conspiracy
Hangover.
theory here.
And there is the Trooper Iron Maiden beer.
Yep.
Conspiracy theory.
Found it. I've worked it all out.
This is amazing.
They launched it in 2013. They've sold over 1 million pints.
Let's put this on all the Iron Maiden forums right now. Let's see what'll go on. I think that's the best verse of the entire, like... song,
it just
by
sums up
far.
war. That one moment you can be, in England you get called up. You're overseas somewhere, in France or whatever, and
Conscription
then you just get sort of blitzed.
Conscription to death.
Not about war, definitely about a night out.
Well,
Blitz that on my mind, man.
that could happen to you as well.
It's a battlefield that no one wins, night out.
What Broad Street on a Saturday?
That's trying to pull, that is. The bugle is just that...
Horse's breath, your breath stinks
Yeah,
when
mate.
you're drinking.
That's true. That's that
Yeah.
vodka breath, isn't it?
Oh, speaking of vodka, Russian
Russian.
guns.
Russian guns,
That's
yeah.
vodka shots. That's
My
what we
throat
call
is
them.
dry from singing Will Griggs on
Towards
Fire
the
too much.
Towards the
And
human
drinking.
wall. That's the mosh
Dries
pit.
you out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the mosh pit.
Actually,
Screams of
sorry.
pain as my comrades fall, and I trample all over them.
Sorry, my throat is dry from the colo.
Do I sense a bit of avoidance here, guys? You don't think about the pain of
I
war.
don't have an existential crisis. No, I'd rather talk about a lad's night out.
I hate nights out. Oh, right. Anyway.
Great song, sums it up in only 4 minutes long, Stuart. That one,
Yeah, no, that was a nice, cheap and cheerful one.
but it's one of their really, really popular songs
Yeah, most
live.
popular on Spotify.
I bet that rings in that Spotify money big time. Anyway, last song.
Right, the anthem.
As we hit almost the 2 hour
Yeah.
mark.
Ammo, You've put it says the number of the beast at the top, and you've put 1982, but it's not. The number of the beast is 666.
Explain
It's
yourself,
explained thoroughly in the song.
It's repeated a few times. Actually.
Yeah. I just thought you'd get that. But
It's been a long week.
Is this Linkin Park number?
That was the best.
Very good there. Very good indeed. This reached number 3 in the charts.
Oh, I say. A song about the devil.
Yeah, I remember seeing the video on Top of the Pops. No less.
Mad.
But they didn't play all of it because, it's just too long for them.
Yeah, censorship.
Well, 5 minutes was too long.
Yeah. I was thinking this one.
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Why was metal so synonymous with the devil in the 80s and late 70s?
Well, this was actually about a dream. A lot of people think it's devil worshippers.
I mean,
Maiden, and all that.
generally, because it is a theme throughout. A lot
Okay,
of
I think
stuff.
the reason why, because the inventors, the godfathers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath, and I wouldn't say a lot, but quite a few of the songs, were about the occult and the dark and death and the kind of more dark aspects of life.
So-
They also did a lot about drug taking and war and environment and stuff as well. But I think, I don't know, it seemed to go with the music and the image and everything. But, Maiden only did pretty much this song about anything talking about, devil worship. And a lot of people misconstrued it because it was when Steve Harris, he'd watched Damien Omen 2. Now, it's not like the Evil Dead. If you watched it now, you'd think, oh, that's pretty tame.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was really scary. Black ravens and, decapitations and all sorts. It was really, really creepy film.
In the first film, the bit where the caretaker says she hangs herself for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that watching that scene media studios, and I was like, that's fucked up. That's still in my head right now.
in the first one, does a glass panel fall and cut someone's head off?
I think so.
Some Final Destination.
The head falls and it's so obviously a fake head. It's hilarious.
But
But
at the time,
in its time, you've always got to think in its time. So it was Steve Harris having a nightmare after watching Damien Omen 2.
Yeah, I've got here. This is
And,
just some messed up dream about demons, and who hasn't had that from time to time? So,
But I love the intro's iconic. So who do you think did it? Do you think Vincent Price did it?
I don't know. Been surprised.
He was a Hammer horror famous actor.
I thought Christopher Lee, just because he sounded.
he was of that era,
Yeah.
Christopher Lee. But they tried to get Vincent Price to do it, but he wanted 25 grand in the time. So they got this other guy.
Now.
They got this,
I know someone who's trying to run a food festival soon, and they asked for Mary Berry from
oh yeah.
From
Bake Off
Baker, yeah.
to be there. Do you want to guess how much she was charging?
I reckon $500,000.
You know what? No. Only 25k.
100? What?
I mean, yeah, fair play, yeah.
He also asked Khabib Nurmagomedov to be there. I'm not going to give any context to what this event is. Can I ask how much? Do you want to guess how much he
No.
charged?
You cannot
No,
not
I
give
can't.
context, or at least do it after, because
I'll do
why
it
the
after.
fuck would Mary Berry and the lightweight champion of the world, the guy who wrestles bears for a living,
Have you seen Mary Bear wrestle?
I mean, no, I haven't. You know what?
Never seen the other guy bake a cake.
Oh, I would love that. I'd love it.
Khabib makes a wicked
Falafel. If
Maybe they
Khabib
can-
appeared on Bake Off, that'd be hilarious.
Combine the two and have a cake fight.
What do I smash the mix? I smash the mix and make cupcake. It's very good. And then I smash the batter.
This is
Iconic intro.
Anyway, I'll tell you after.
number 1 cup.
You'll never know.
I would have thought that metal's linked with the devil was because obviously pop would be quite mainstream, and so would, I guess, Christianity. So it would be going away from pop, so it's going away from what everyone else is.
That's true.
Going away from the norm, going away from Christianity.
And I can reckon in the 80s
Or
as
the
well.
kind of boy meets girl thing.
Although there was a lot.
Like trying to be the opposite.
Yeah, there was a lot of evangelical sort of gospel sort of tracks back then. I mean, in the 80s, well, you had Madonna's blooming a prayer.
Yeah.
That was the
yeah.
anthem for Christian,
It's crazy in such a
Nuts.
span of time how Britain especially has gone from being quite a religious country to very
It's
much
very secular.
agnostic to atheist in that sort of spectrum.
yeah,
It's
it's lost its
40%? Maybe 50 now?
Probably, yeah.
So
Most people would DIY rather than go to church on Sunday, you know. It got a bit like that.
bit of gardening on a Sunday.
But the Americans took this very seriously, and they were outside of, concerts, Iron Maiden concerts. They were smashing albums with hammers, burning them. They were protesting.
Did that mean they bought them and then burnt them?
Which boosted sales. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
This is the 80s version of Little Nas being removed from the country charts, isn't it? This is these idiots going, we don't want it, we don't like it, fuck it, and now he's number one. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and back in those days, I mean, can you imagine this?
Tilt, Dad, tilt.
Can you imagine that?
Tilt other way, Dad.
What? Get the light.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, can you imagine that on a 12-inch square album? Because this doesn't really do it
vinyl,
justice, you know. Because I used to sit there, listen to the whole album by myself without any distractions, phones or anything, and I'd be looking at the artistry of the album cover, looking at the lyrics at the same time, and it was a wonderful experience to do it, you know. Back
What did
then.
your parents think of you liking Maiden? Or was it later on, I guess?
I think. Well, my mum didn't like the noise because we used to play it loud. So my dad passed away early, so he wouldn't have. I didn't get to have that experience with him.
Do you reckon he would have liked it, or do you reckon he would have been like,
I don't even know why.
my son?
Because I didn't grow up with my dad with the way we've grown up, and you know everything that I like, and I know everything you like, and so I don't even know what music he was into.
Oh.
I remember an aunt telling me he was doing the twist in the kitchen, showing everyone there's a new dance out there. This is what everyone's doing,
And that's how you dance?
Yeah.
This is the dad dance for years? How weird.
Works for any kind of genre of
It does,
music.
yeah.
Dance gets passed down through genetics.
We have
So-
seen you dance.
I do dance. I used to dance like that, to be fair, and then I realised what I was doing and stopped immediately. Must not become my father.
You never done the twist in a mosh pit?
In a muffin, no. Sadly not, no. Although now you've said
That's
that,
one for the bucket
let's
list.
start a trend.
That's one with the bucket list.
Alright, cool. WV1. I'll get the Limp Biscuit mosh pit.
Okay. Right.
It's all about the nookie. Alright, let's actually get into the words of this. I've... Go on. Have you got...
Oh, well, I was going to say the opening verse.
Like that?
You know, that's from Revelations,
Woe
chapter
to you.
13, verse 18.
Woe to you,
Who did
O
you say
earth
did
and
it, sorry?
sea.
Sorry?
Who did you say did it? So
So it was Barry Clayton
Barry
actually
Clayton.
did it.
Okay.
Lesser known, much cheaper voiceover guy. Sounds just like Vincent Price.
Oh. They literally got a knockoff. That's brilliant.
So, yeah, they got a bargain there.
How much is he? 20 quid?
So, F you, Vincent, we're going to get Barry.
Marmite Baz. Does not a good Vincent impression, let me tell you.
I don't know, he probably did it for 50 quid or something, I don't know.
3 points. That's all. That's
3 points and a packet of KP peanuts, that'll do me lovely.
So I bet he wishes he asked for a percentage, like just 1% of the cut. Because that would have been a lot.
big time.
It's one of their closeout tracks.
Shall I say it? Shall I speak the word?
Yes, go for it.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
There you go, Ryan. They could have said 666, but they said 666.
Execute order 666.
Great intro, using that verse from the Bible. That's brilliant.
A lot of
Sets it
people
up
do
nicely,
that.
yeah.
A lot of people doing that now. Like Machine Head did it with one of their recent songs on Locust. It was very good.
Well, don't forget, Maiden influenced a lot of bands,
Yeah.
and you'll hear their music in a lot of.
They've been covered enough. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Trivium do an Iron Maiden cover of Iron Maiden.
Oh wow! Oh,
Very
I
good.
gotta hear
Very
that.
good.
Gotta hear that. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to carry on?
Oh, are we gonna pick out or
Pick out, because I'm good on this.
Yeah, I put beats me on my notes.
I like that. In my old
I got
dreams,
nothing.
were they reflections of my warp mind staring back at me? I mean, again, visual imagery, and you could just imagine this guy, just kind of stumbling upon this satanic, devil-worshipping thing that's going on. And it's another great storytelling, really.
I left it there, my mind it was blank. Is that because he's Where is he in this? Has he just got into the dream?
Yeah, he's got into the dream, so he's just walking
And
and, you know...
Memories of the mind. This is very good. Walking into the memories of the mind, and then yeah.
Was it real or was it fantasy?
Very
Right.
good. It's, I mean, we're talking through it because it's just so good. It's so descriptive.
It is, yeah.
I'll try and pick out something. So you
The
talk.
evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair.
I figured that was just a metaphor
Freddy
for
Krueger.
temptation, if anything. It's like everyone has sort of a devil inside you. But then I got lost and it turned out it wasn't that at all.
I think you can take from it whatever you wish, really.
You know, it's one of those classic Ammo moments where he doesn't read the next line. He just goes, what the fuck does this mean? And then it explains it in the next line. It's like, oh, right, okay, I get you.
Oh, Ariana's doing a mixtape to herself.
There we go.
Oh, gosh. Mentioning all
Who's
those
this
people.
Ari character?
Did we do her? When? Was it all a dream? Was it...
The next line is just yeah. So you just got to that and was like, yeah. Oh, no.
Ah, now.
Totally wrong.
I got it.
This is a big year because there is a story behind this. It's a 12-second long scream. So the producer Martin Birch, he made Bruce repeat the intro. I left alone. My mind was blank. Those first few lines, he made him repeat them again and again and again. It went on for hours. Bruce is smashing things. What do you want? What do you want? And so he said, you have to sum up your entire life in the first few lines. And he's thinking, what on earth does this guy want? And he said, and I haven't heard it yet. So he's saying he had the same problem with Ronnie James Dio when he's recording Heaven and Hell, which you won't know, but you'll know, Ammo. And so finally, Bruce went for a walk and he got it. And then he came back in, sang it, and then Martin Birch heard what he wanted to hear. Because he said there's a difference between singing a line and living it. And the way Bruce sings the lines and the emphasis and the power he puts behind, you know, the key words and the lyrics, he's living it. So he's living the lyrics and the song and the experience. So he learnt a big lesson then from Martin Birch.
Cool.
So, shall I carry on with an interesting story?
Go on.
So Martin Birch produced this album. So he was driving either to the studio or whatever, and there was funny goings on in the studio. Lights would go on and off, and equipment would fail. So Martin Birch is driving along, and he has a crash with a minibus full of nuns. Takes the car to the garage.
It's like Jay and Silent Bob or something.
This is for real. And guess how much the bill came to?
66.
£666.
Oh,
And he refused to pay it because he thought if he paid it, something's going to happen.
That's literally a bad omen. That's literally a bad omen.
Sort of being sliced and decapitated or something.
do you
So
want
that's
to?
Yeah.
Are we done? Can we do scoring now? Because it's
Okay,
2 hours.
your time's getting on.
That's fine. But then, anything else you want to add or talk about?
Yeah, I think it was he was kind of split really. He wanted to go and inform the law and say, look, this devil worship's going on, but then at the same time he got drawn in by the chanting of the hordes, and it looks like he became part of it.
This is the dream, just sort of going deeper and deeper. Basically. Yeah.
And then I think the devil won in the end because they brought him back, like Revelations predicted. The beast came back. So you know, I'm coming back. I will return. I'll possess your body and I'll make you burn. I have the fire. I have the force. I have the power.
It's not
to make
really the
force.
devil, is it? It's just the dream.
Well, yeah, it's a dream. But in the dream, you know, dreams can go anywhere, can't they?
Can I throw in
So, I mean, like,
fun
it shouldn't be.
fact?
Oh, Ryan's got a fun fact. Go on, Ryan. Yeah.
So, devil worshippers and Satanists are actually different things.
Oh,
Satanists.
go on, Dungeon Master.
Found out that Satanists are apparently closer to atheists in the sense that they're just kind of like anti-Christians.
Fuck God.
Oh.
And they see the devil as kind of they see Satan as more of a free spirit and about kind of like liberal sort of values, like
As Jim Jeffries said, like, why do you want to go
that
to
way.
heaven when in hell the devil will be there waiting for you with a prostitute with a line of coke on her arm?
yeah, like that sort of thing. Like do what you want.
Jim Jeffries.
Yeah.
So yeah, They're more free thinkers than
See, I have seen.
Devil
worshipping
worshippers.
devils.
I remember seeing like a clip of like it was like 3 people all dressed up in like black cloaks and like labeled as Satanists
In a
And they were
pentagram situation.
Yeah,
kind of
that
thing,
like whole like pendants and stuff like that, and it was like really off-putting. And then you just heard them talking about, oh yeah, but fuck Donald Trump and shit like that. And it was like a really like they were talking about like healthcare, like having a really like interesting conversation with this like reporter. And you can see by the reporter's face, he's like, I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting some like deep political debate with this person.
The trouble is then
You're
you're like, do I want to join this
Yeah,
devil?
Hey, this is alright. You're good. How's you?
Ryan, steer clear, call the law. Don't get drawn in. Don't get mesmerised.
That's how they get you.
But they're gonna. I'm coming back.
But I assume this song was met with quite a lot of uproar.
Oh yeah, it was.
Now,
Yeah,
this
the
is my-
Christians really did not like it
if
at
they
all.
actually look at the lyrics themselves,
Yeah, harmless.
it's just a dream.
Yes.
So
They
chill.
don't read stuff.
So chill the fuck out, man. It is a dream. There's no devil worshipping going on here. It's just a messed up dream. I'm sure Christians of all people have horrible dreams about hellfire and
I was going to
crimson.
say, you're also telling them to like just read the lyrics when they're struggling to interpret a book that's been around for thousands of years.
That's very good.
Oh, sorry, did I say that? My
With
bad.
four different
Shame.
versions. With
My
4
bad.
different versions. Yeah.
Yeah.
To quote Anakin, for the second time on this podcast to sound correctly, I'm a slow learner. But yeah, do you want to like just go through the
Well, the
final bits?
soundtrack for that was it's used on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
That's a good shout.
It's been on Guitar Hero 3 as well.
Yes,
so
that's
it's
where
been
I
used
knew it
quite a
from.
bit.
I knew this song. Sorry. Yeah.
So basically, all I want to say is that despite 666 being mentioned about 18 times in the song, it's not real. And the uproar that that was had with the song back in the day was unfounded. And I want to go back to the last verse because I think for some reason with the Maiden songs, the last verse always seems to be the most poignant for me because it always ends on some
I always
moment.
with the going back to the when the wind blows one, obviously it revealed the
Suicide.
suicide. Yeah. I almost felt like it was like an episode of Black Mirror where it's just sort of like this is what it is,
right.
this is what's going on. You don't quite know what's going on, and then the reveal happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel. Iron Maiden songs are. They're like, oh, and this is the conclusion.
I was going to read out a couple of like lines from the
Carry
song,
on,
so.
carry on.
Here's a few of my favourites. So the evil face that twists my mind and makes me despair.
Yes. Same here.
Then moving down to Hell and Fire was spawned to be released. Torches blazed and sacred chants were praised. Then I just want to say the entire last verse. I'm coming back, I will return, and I'll possess your body and make you burn. I have the fire, I have the force, I have the power to make my evil take its course. What's that ending saying? Because for me, is that from the devil's perspective? He's coming back in another dream in the future, or just in his life in the future,
I think he's going to come over and take over Earth.
and possess his body, and then
Possess all humans.
I don't see it's Earth. I just think it's this person singularly. So I think that's quite cool.
Oh, possess your body and I'll make you burn. Okay, yeah. Well, maybe
And
start
then-
with him and then move on.
Maybe. Then
One by one.
I like that.
Going back to Ryan's point, maybe it's like an actual pint of Trooper. It's actually inside themselves like, I will possess your body and make you burn.
But I like that the dream has gone so
It's good
far.
quality stuff, It doesn't kind of...
I have the power to make evil take its course. That sounds about right.
I like
about
that
me.
idea that all Iron Maiden songs are just selling their drinks.
That's it. They're just corporate shills this whole
That's
time.
deep, Ryan, that's deep.
The marketing geniuses of Maiden.
I know, yeah.
Maiden marketing.
You say that, you didn't have a fucking point when you could have done. So it didn't work on you.
Hey, I would have done actually. To be fair, I would have had beer for the 3rd time in my life, but I couldn't. We went to a gaming bar called Loading Bar, and
yes.
came back. There was a venue there, a gig going on with a Maiden tribute band, and it was 20 quid, and we were already 3 hours into the gig, and I thought, you know what, it's not my time, so I'll go back with Dad and have a pint.
Oh, yeah, let's definitely do
The
that.
teetotal vegan.
I'll have a pint of water, yeah.
But then I like that because this dream is so fucked up that even at the end of the dream, it's saying that there'll be a future dream where I'm gonna fuck you up even more. But it's still a dream.
Get your ass.
Yeah, but it's still a dream. And I like
Or
Or it might be
think
like
it's a
Freddy
dream.
Krueger and come into reality.
Maybe so. I'm definitely having nightmares.
On that note, it's time for scores.
Okay, well,
Oh, I can't guess that score.
I actually sang this at my 50th. Ryan, do you remember? You must
I
have been
wasn't
there.
there.
You weren't there.
No.
That's awkward.
Oh,
You were invited.
Yeah, I was on holiday, I think.
Oh, then that's not awkward. Phew.
Middle class white people.
Yeah, Narinda sort of got the DJ to download it.
That's only 'cause
So this was my
Andy and Nat
surprise
fuck off as well
50th
for the
birthday, and Narinda got the DJ to cue this. So after I'd done my speech impromptu, he played Number of the Beast, and the video shot. The funniest thing is the look on the DJ's face in the background, thinking,
Was he Asian?
yeah, what the hell is this? So I had to sing it without any karaoke lines and just from memory.
Oh wow.
And Ammo and the VZ lot couldn't actually see me, and and somebody said to Ammo, "Oh, was that you dancing? I thought that was the record playing, the music playing." So
Who said that?
I don't know. That's what you
Did I
said.
tell
That's
you
what you
that?
said. Yeah.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
That was your present.
Can I do a couple of fun facts?
Of course you can. Go.
I prepared all these fun facts. Okay, I think
so many fucking
Wow.
fun.
No, I'm just gonna pick a couple.
3.
Okay. The biggest Iron Maiden fan, if you think I'm a big fan, there's a guy called Marcus Motolo, who's a priest
That's
in
a great
Brazil.
name, by the way.
Marcos Motolo. He's a priest in Brazil, and in Brazil, the second most popular religion after Christianity is the religion of Iron Maiden.
Shut up. In Brazil.
In Brazil,
In the entire
right?
country
I
of
was
Brazil.
I was about to say that doesn't sound right, but then you literally got a Christ the Redeemer in their capital, so it does make sense that that's the main one.
So,
me.
hang on, get
The
this.
second one's like a
Get this
slightly
right.
smaller one of Eddie.
This guy has got 172 Iron Maiden tattoos on his body, and he showed them on a YouTube video. So he's got Eddie across here, and he said, "If I move like this, it looks like Eddie's trying to escape." and he's named himself Padre Iron Maiden.
Wow.
He's called his son's called Steve Harris. And so what he does...
Steve Harris what?
Steve Harris is the bassist founder, yeah?
What's the surname?
So,
What's her name?
Padre...
Steve Harris Matolo.
Yes!
Amazing. Amazing. There are no rules. This is great.
And what he does is he weaves in Iron Maiden lyrics into his sermons, and it talks about Iron Maiden morality, and the lyrics are used.
They could be.
And and there's other Iron Maiden churches that have popped up around Brazil. Amazing. Another fun one is, the Iron Maiden plane, Ed Force One. So imagine it's got a decal on the tail, looking something like this, of Eddie. And so the airplane company, Eritreus, who they sort of hired the plane from, they sent it back to them while they were breaking between the US tour and the European tour. And so it went to Africa. To do some flying of domestic flights. When the Africans, because you know how they are about black magic in Africa, they are superstitious like hell there.
Yeah.
You want to tell your gym story?
Sorry?
Tell your gym story.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the people wouldn't board the plane because they said it's bad juju, and then other people getting onto other planes said, "We're not going to get on our plane." Because the bad juju from the Iron Maiden planes got onto our plane. It shut down the whole airport.
I know how they feel.
Nobody would want to fly.
Like, when I have to get on a Flybe one, I see that logo, I'm like, yeah, that's got bad juju, I'm not doing it. I get it. When there's a flaming skull on there, I can...
Yeah.
Plane on your poster over there.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do. From the gig that we went to.
Man, I wear this to the gym a lot, and I get some funny looks.
Because
it is a devilly thing there. And in last summer, I was passing to Afro-Caribbean gentlemen, and they were giving me some pretty filthy looks there, because he's holding a heart, Yeah, so I got some funny looks there.
The gym.
There's a guy called Khalil Silver,
Many a tale.
who changed his name to Iron Maiden Khalil Silver.
Very good.
So he's got it actually in there. Sorry, did you have a thing?
No, I want you to do one more because I want to eat. I'm starving.
Okay, right. Frank Turner, one celebrity mastermind with his specialist subject as Iron Maiden.
What did he get points wise?
Oh, I don't know his actual point
come on,
score.
Dad.
Sorry.
Wait, Frank
Come
Turner, as in the...
A singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chose Iron Maiden.
His music is not influenced by Iron Maiden.
No, it's Far Cry. You can get an Iron Maiden pinball machine with Eddie and stuff on it for
All right,
$6,000.
man, we're done.
What about the Iron Maiden's laundry service?
No, do not care.
All right.
That is a conversation.
That's enough fun
podcast.
facts. Okay.
Very fun, Dad. Very, very fun.
Thank you, sir.
On to scoring. So,
As if you got a whole page for scoring.
I didn't write a page, guys.
Me.
Not at all.
sideways. Holy shit.
Spoilers!
Guys,
I'm going to show you metaphysics.
on the back of the Metaphysics 2
2.
handout. Right, go on, Dad. You're up.
Iron Maiden are beyond the physical. Am I going first?
It is
I can do?
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, Iron Maiden are the complete package. So I think they've got the best lead singer, Bruce, power, vocal range, screams, high to low. He's so engaging with the crowd and everything. The best bass player as well, because he plays it like a rhythm guitar, which is why I get that galloping feel to it. And he's a great songwriter as well. Foundation of Iron Maiden sound, really. Great drummers. The guitarists are amazing. I think with Maiden, it's their creativity, innovation, imagination in piecing all these concept stories, lyrics together. Great intros, outros, pace changes that go with the song and the story. And I think it really connects the listener and connects them hard to the story, I feel. The album covers, the stage sets, they all go with the concept and the theme of the tour. Eddie's on there. Eddie's become part of it. And they're multi-generational. So at an Iron Maiden gig, it's not untypical to see a grandparent, parent, and children all wearing Maiden t-shirts. So it's getting handed on from generation to generation. And the reaction videos of young YouTubers being blown away by Maiden and saying, why didn't I discover Maiden before? And it's really good to see, the young generation falling in love with Maiden again. And again, they talk about interesting subject matter, not just, what we've done with, say, Drake or KSI or that kind of stuff, Boy Meets Girl, Ego, and, how much money I've got, money, cars, all that kind of thing. And the songs stand the test of time. And for me, I enjoy them as much as I did when I was 17. And they still give me nerve-tingling sort of, sensations, and I just love that. And I'm sure I'm going to be listening to them when I'm 80 as well. And they're long songs, but when you listen to them, time just flies by, really, for me.
I disagree with that, Pat.
Yeah.
Saying.
A song as long as an episode of TV.
So how would I describe them? Powerful, genius, phenomenal, masterly, creative, innovative, inspirational, epic. They've really got the wow factor.
I'm going to need a number here, Dad.
The number... if you've seen Spinal Tap, they have amplifiers that go up to 11.
No.
Okay, they go up to 11, right? For that final push.
The rules.
So I'm going to give them a heavy metal Spinal Tap 11 out of 10.
You mean to tell me we've been waiting for you to go over 4 this entire time?
Hey, Aretha was 6.
All right, Aretha gets 6. Yeah, 6 is the score you give when you're like, it's not bad, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
That's the score you give someone when you want to tell them that they're shit, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. It's like, it's a 6. It's a 6.
But look, when you compare this mastery with, even though Aretha's great,
you want to give a
and look, they write all their own songs, and all their own music composition is their own as well. So
fair.
let's not forget that they don't need external people to write their stuff.
Very good.
Yeah.
On to Stu.
Okay, well, obviously, this one was quite an interesting one from my perspective because I am not familiar with heavy metal music at all. I hadn't even... The only song I'd heard of was Number of the Beast, and the only reason why, as you mentioned, was Guitar Hero 3.
Guitar Hero.
So, yeah, this was quite a fascinating one. I did enjoy it, I will say, but I do get the feeling that my... ability to grasp new heavy metal as like my new thing that I'm going to enjoy. I don't know. I feel like my mentality is so like almost millennial now, and it's to the point where I am very much a part of that news cycle of 24 hours, and everything's very instant, and that's why I do quite enjoy, faster paced, and almost sort of. don't know about Lil Pump, although I could have listened to his album like 17 times. Just saying.
But on the words themselves, do it.
But yes, the lyrics themselves, I can't give them a perfect 10 because, well, I don't know. It's always difficult for me to give something a perfect score anyway. But for me, I can't give something a perfect score if I've gone, what the fuck did he just say? What's that mean? I don't understand. So yeah, I will give them. Can I give 0.5s? Yeah, all right. I'll give 8.5. I think 8.5 is a pretty solid score because it's one of those. I do find myself enjoying the guitar riffs more than the actual lyrics themselves. Because I said my first run through, I look through just to hear the song, then I do the lyrics. And I must admit, I enjoyed the first run through more than the second run through.
This could be a very high scoring round, I think.
Wow, Stuart!
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting such a high score from yourself.
We'll have a discussion about like the actual implications of like the music industry itself and the reason why. Obviously, you're not connected to the modern music in the sense of like in like hip hop and like R&B, and that's completely fine because you grew up obviously with Iron Maiden. So
just the charts for you, isn't it? And you hate all that.
The
charts, and you hate all that for your gigs.
Oh, I can't. It's unplayable.
Well,
for my DJ work.
Yeah, and the sad part is obviously this came from a group of individuals that clearly were not interested in like monetary value. Like obviously, if you can make money, great. But it's one of those arguments of like you do what you love, and if you can do what you love and make money, excellent.
Yes.
These guys clearly put artistry over money like from day one, and thankfully. That genuine sort of approach has sort of hit home with a lot of people. So much so that it's a secondary religion in Brazil. The third, fourth biggest country in the world?
Yeah.
So...
Well, if you ever see some of their live concerts there, you'll understand why. 350,000 people, you know.
I mean, when you said that number, that's... I mean, I knew that, like, old gigs back in the day when they didn't really have, like, seating and stuff like that, it was, like, standing. I remember there was, like, a wrestling event in North Korea that had 200,000. It's just sort of like, that's ridiculous. How do you have that many people watching one show? But 350k to watch a rock concert, that is...
Did Metallica do 500,000 or $1 million at Russia when the walls fell down?
How could you even get...
500,000, you know.
There's an amazing clip of it.
Like, how do you even get that many people parked?
I mean, what about toilet facilities?
You better carpool for that fucking event, I tell you.
Very good, very good. Ryan.
Right. There's a lot of stories which I enjoyed. There's not a whole lot of emotion, which is what I like in a song. It makes you can see yourself in the situation. A lot of them are like historically based. I feel like I'm telling you this because I'm breaking your heart.
Emotion? I was going to say it's packed with emotion.
It is, but it's all about things I wouldn't experience as a person. Now.
You mean to tell me you're not going to charge headfirst into a Russian army?
I don't think so. Not anytime soon.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
You're not going to bunker in a shelter anytime with Kim Jong-un.
No, not with Eddie anyway.
No.
So, I was, because the lyrics are great and it's very expressive, but not emotionally driven. So I was going to go for a 7, but then I remembered all those cracking rhymes. So I'm going to put it to an 8.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I'm very pleased with that, Ryan. Yeah.
Ammo just wants to be mean.
I just... on one side of things, I think they're quite infallible. The lyrics are sort of... They're wholesome. They're substance-filled, which is exactly what I looked for. And there's nothing that we could really pick out like we've done with previous artists. I'm like, that is the most stupid thing ever.
Yeah.
Why are they written that? How can you even think that way kind of thing?
I mean, what was the mariner doing at a wedding?
Apart from that, the wedding thing, that might be the 0.5 I take. But that would be really picky of me. However, I do, when you made that point about the emotion, can I sing along to these songs as I would a Slipknot, System, Bullet song? And it is... That really resonated with me. When Ryan said that, I was like, that is true, because when I listen to Iron Maiden, I appreciate the musical standpoint of things.
Yeah.
But the words, there's not that much emotional resonance to it.
It doesn't hook, it doesn't sort of like linger in your mind sort of thing.
It lingers in. I sing them all the time. I make the family fed up.
This is the thing. Maybe I made you dislike something.
As
much as I think these words are infallible, and it's so nice to see a band of this size and nature talk about so many historical events and things that, you know...
Especially for so long. song as well.
Yeah. And this, like, because people might not even know about these events of history, like especially like young kids.
But it's not just historical events; it's dreams.
True, but it's like, but you like the lyrics are so good. It makes you want to, even though like there's not much to talk about sometimes because they're just so this is the point of this.
Yes.
But it makes you want to research it more.
Yeah.
So it's really I'm struggling here. Because I was thinking this could be the first sort of 10 I give, but then because of what I'm saying, that I think I'm gonna have to go for an 8.
An 8, Amu.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm not decided yet. I'm not.
I mean, that makes it an average score of what, 8.25. That's
What did you
even
give?
more because you said 11. So it would be like.
Don't
9.
be swayed by the rest of the panel. You got to go with what you want.
They do deserve. Oh, hello. Just.
Oh, that's your phone.
All right, we'll leave that. I'll edit this out. Let's just wait for it to go. There we go.
Shall I silence
It's gone. It's good. It's gone.
I do it.
So I think I'm gonna have to go for an 8. Dad, as sad as it sounds.
An 8, Amu.
I don't know. Hang on.
Sacrilege.
One of us.
I do, but then
We would require a score
The
sometime.
two gigs we've been to, Amu. I mean,
been
they've been
phenomenal.
monumental.
To
Really,
be fair,
haven't they?
like you gave Drake a -1. I went recently. So.
I thought you guys were going to get your own back on me today. I thought this is the revenge of the
It was hard to
podcasters.
do.
This is
gotta
what
base it on the artist.
this is the face of not a music snob.
I want to say
Impartiality.
I want to say
Yes.
9. I want to say 9, but my heart says 8, and I'm gonna go with my heart, and my brain's also saying 8 as well. So I've got to go with my heart and my head.
You're giving lower score than Stuart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How mad's that? I'm a metal fan, baby.
You've converted Stuart though. He's coming to the
Yeah, that's
concert.
really good. 8.5.
Stuart, I'm so pleased with that.
I mean, I can look at it.
My
from an
main
objective
man,
point of
Stuart.
view. I will also point out, like, I was going to obviously discuss with you afterwards the music industry as a whole.
Yes.
The sad part of this is, like you say, it is somewhat a cult following. I know you say it's got a massive following, but had say like this song for example, like Number of the Beast, it's
Yeah.
got released in 2019, like, and just got put on.
Oh,
Like,
19.
Spotify.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Like if it was like
Oh,
aimed
right,
at
yeah,
today's audience,
Yeah.
this would bomb. Like if it was like a brand new band, fresh off the scene, like they're no Iron Maiden in history, and this got brought.
You mean
into
from a
2019.
kind of regular chart?
yes, from
perspective?
this day and age, like.
But the metal fans, I'm sure. I mean, it's an iconic song, really.
It's not. But if it was released
That's
this
what I'm
year,
saying,
there's
like,
no shock
there's-
value.
Yeah,
Because we're all desensitized to everything.
exactly. But that's a testament to how powerful they were back in the day, because they were the pioneers almost.
It
in
was
that sense.
edgy back then.
Exactly.
But now it's not as edgy.
Yeah, it's like
Guys, guys, I've changed my mind. Whilst you were muttering, I've thought about it, and because the lyrics are so wholesome, and I've criticised the other artists because there's been so little substance to them. This is worthy of a 9.
He remembered his intro.
Yeah, because
I thought back to my power statement and was like,
does it even
No.
matter what the lyrics are? You know, with some of the artists.
but everything matters here, and I've got to give credit for that. And
Yeah.
this is a very good benchmark for any future artist that we pitch against.
And I think this is why I mentioned them. So name dropped Iron Maiden every time we were doing these banal lyrics, which were sort of, wow, what is this world
So,
come to?
On that note, do you want to do one more?
No, just go for it.
On that note, yeah. So I'm gonna
Final score.
9 is the final
Final
answer. Thank you, Chris. So, and on that
Jeremy
note,
Clarkson now, by the way, bud.
I didn't want to say
It's
that.
Chris.
I wanted to go for an old school reference.
Old
It'll
school
always
terror.
be Chris for me. Anyway, on that millionaire reference, and when it comes to lyrics, look beyond the surface.